Okay, now it's time at this juncture to concentrate our minds on this year's Senior All-Ireland final. With the qualifying system now in the Football and Hurling Championships, the road to Croke Park seems to get longer and longer.
It was a year that began like this, with Cork hurlers announcing strike action.
I mean that no player will make himself available for playing with Cork for the foreseeable future, until the matters that have been raised have been addressed in a reasonable manner.
And finished on a far brighter note, with the Leesiders reaching today's decider.
Here's a chance for Jimmy McCarthy! Oh, it's a good one, Matthew!
From early departures to final departures, the year was never short of drama.
Up to Charlie Carter, rifling it in, he scored!
Diarmid returned, Charlie retired, 35 matches played, but now only one ultimate winner in the battle for the Liam McCarthy Cup. This year, once again, the champions were in goal-scoring form, hitting 8 along the way. The procession began in Leinster against Dublin. 8 goals was also a total associated with Cork, except they conceded 8. Mind you, the balance sheet is healthy. They scored 9, starting against Clare. In the Leinster final, Wexford's legendary Falls Dawns were again on the menu, and Kilkenny's high-energy game was simply overwhelming.
Here come the Cats looking for a goal, and get one! And it's Eddie Brennan!
Down south, Waterford were champions, but Cork had the deadly duo. Not so much Torval and Dean, more Satanta and you-know-who.
Green is under pressure from Dean! A goal! From Joe Dean!
6 weeks later, and the Munster champions looked rusty, only for their captain to settle nerves. And then, this happened.
And here it is with Mitch Jordan fed ahead there to the man. A goal, and it's Rory McCarthy, they're level!
By comparison, Kilkenny were typically assured and dominant in their semi-final, and they needed to be against the remarkable Brendan Cummins.
And it's stopped again by Cummins, comes up towards, what a sequence, what a save again! Back towards again, and it's a goal of victory by Tommy Walsh!
And if at first you don't succeed, as the old adage goes, try again. In the process, Joe Dean, like Eddie Brennan for the Cats, maintained his goal-a-game record. Provincial glory belongs to High Summer. Now, only one of these men can take home the McCarthy Cup in the 19th final meeting of Kilkenny and Cork.
Yes, that's the way that they got to the final. The paths to the final is our build-up then to this year's All-Ireland Senior decider between Cork and Kilkenny. We'll be talking to the panel, of course, Michael Dignan and Gerlach Nan, about this year's final coming up in what now, just a little over a half an hour to the throw-in in the big match. The next event that's going to happen here at Croke Park, due to happen in a second or two, will be the introduction. Look at that scene, by the way, just at the moment. That's Dunhill 16, and the scene here at Croke Park, absolutely fantastic. Huge crowd, beautiful setup, lovely sunny day. Pitch, of course, in perfect nick, there's no doubt about that. The hunt, by the way, for tickets this year, Michael Dignan and Gerlach Nan, I have never experienced anything like it. They've made the stadium bigger. There's 80,000 seats here now.
We say it every year.
And there isn't half enough tickets.
We say it every year. I never saw a year like this, but genuinely this year.
Yeah.
Like a lot of real genuine hurling supporters that would come in, they go to every match, and we just hadn't got them. I feel I don't have many phone calls during the week, and we try to look after as many genuine supporters as you could. But maybe it's a sign of the times. Like as you said earlier about coming to this stadium, like it's a great occasion, it's a great day out, and everyone wants to be here. And look at the setting out there today. Sure, you wouldn't see it anywhere in the world.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it, Gerlach Nan. Like in the past, obviously, counties that involve the finals want to go to it, but now the whole country seems to want to go.
That's the whole thing. There are so many neutrals that want to come to the game from all counties, north and south, football counties, supposed football counties. There are hurling pockets everywhere. Even football people want to come here. But I have never seen, in all my time following the game, I have never seen such a big crowd following Cork. It's almost as if they're on a mission of support for this team. This team has caught on in Cork, Cork have always great regards for their hurlers, but they have really taken to this team, and that is why they're supporting them in such massive numbers, and that's why the ticket search is so intense. Yeah, well, here are gentlemen had no problem, I presume, getting tickets anyway, because they're special guests here at Croke Park today. These are famous hurling brothers that have played in All-Ireland finals from 1950 up to, of course, more recent times. Marty Morrissey will be doing the introductions.
Indeed, Marty will be introducing them to us very shortly now, and they have played in major matches over a 25-year period. and all different counties, the strongholds of hurling, are involved here, and I'm sure they're going to get a big welcome. A couple of Kilkenny men there at the front.
The GAA Games hurling winners from 1950 to 1975. He was cornerback in 1963 when Kilkenny won the All-Ireland. He's from Bennett's Bridge. Will you welcome please Martin Tracy?
1963 was the year that Kilkenny atoned for a dramatic loss 4 years earlier, and Martin played at left cornerback.
His brother was left cornerback on 4 All-Ireland winning teams. 1967, 69, 1972 against Cork, and 74 against Limerick. Will you welcome silver-haired Jim Tracy?
The funny thing about Jim is he always appeared to be silver-haired, never aged a bit. Great victories against Tip, Cork twice, and Limerick.
In 1963, when Kilkenny beat Waterford in the All-Ireland final, Rory Esteem Tommy Murphy was wearing number 15 in his back. 6 years later, he was on the team that beat Cork in the final. Ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome please Father Tommy Murphy?
Well, there's a name, there's a face, always associated with Kilkenny hurling and famed St. Kieran's College as well. So many wonderful players started out there, went on to wear the black and amber.
In 1969, Father Tommy's brother Billy Murphy was right half back on the side that beat Cork to bring back the Liam McCarthy Cup to Northside. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Murphy.
Yes, Billy Murphy, one of the stars of 69, when Kilkenny beat Cork by 6 points in that year's battle for the McCarthy Cup.
In 1957, when Kilkenny won the All-Ireland, playing a cornerback was Donovan against Tom Walsh. Will you please salute the one and only Tom Walsh?
4-10 to 3-12, Kilkenny beat Waterford, beginning quite a rivalry between the counties.
Today, his late brother Jim Link Walsh, who was a wonderful fullback on that All-Ireland winning side. Our next guest was fullback in 73 when Limerick beat Kilkenny in the All-Ireland final. One of the finest fullbacks ever, from the famous South Liberties, the one and only Pat Hartigan.
Might as well take a second bow there, Pat. Known for his huge clearances, of course, for Limerick. He was a great number 3.
Normally a midfielder, but also playing in the half-forward line in that All-Ireland success was his brother, Bernie Hartigan.
Strongly built man, Bernie, of course. He was a top athlete and a very fine footballer as well.
International athletes and dual star played with Limerick footballers as well. The 1973 Munster final between Limerick and Tipperary will always be remembered for Richie Guinness's winning point. On that team, that All-Ireland was his brother at right half-back. Will you welcome please from Patrick's man, Phil Bevis.
Phil, of course, later coach to the Limerick hurling team. Family with a great hurling tradition.
Ireland's in 49, 50 and 51. The centre forward each year was a fine hurler. His name, Mick Ryan.
And if you live in Cork, you'll know Mick Ryan, in spite of his Tipperary connections, because he lives in Frankfield, up there with the golf course at this stage.
We remember as well his late brother, Jack Ryan, who was corner forward on the All-Ireland winning team that beat Laois in 1949.
One of the really great players.
In 1950, Tipperary beat Kilkenny in the final here at Croke Park. Right corner forward for Tipperary was Paddy Kenny.
A very good era for Tipperary, of course. Paddy part of it. 3 in a row between 1949 and 51. He was there for 2 of those successes.
He won the second All-Ireland medal in 51 when Tipperary beat Wexford. We also remember his late brother Sean Kenny this afternoon. In 1962, Tipperary hurlers were again victorious. A great corner forward for his county was the late Tom Ryan. 9 years later, in 1971, his brother Roger Ryan was on the Tipperary team that won the All-Ireland. Will you welcome, please, Roger Ryan?
There he is, the tall man, had his bow already. Roger Ryan. It was a remarkable final 71 as Tip and Kilkenny shared 10 goals equally.
Had a great year in 1959. Midfield of that All-Ireland winning team that beat Kilkenny after a replay was Seamus Parr.
And that was the last year that an All-Ireland final, 59 that is, ended level. And you get odds today of 10 to 1 on that happening this afternoon.
His brother Sean Parr won an All-Ireland medal the following year in 1960, with his adopted county of Wexford being Tipperary. Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Parr.
So a big, big welcome for all concerned.
1955 and 56 were two great years for the people of Wexford. Winning the All-Ireland both years was a team backboned by the famous brothers. Back extraordinaire, Billy Rackard.
It really is one of the great family names of the GAA, isn't it? The Rackards of Wexford. Distinguished players and a very distinguished family.
His two late brothers, Nicky and Bobby, two fabulous hurlers who have gone to their eternal reward. A brilliant goalkeeper for Wexford in their All-Ireland success in 1960 when they defeated Tipperary in the final is one of our guests. Welcome,
Pat, who kept a clean sheet that day in 1960 against Tipperary as Wexford rattled home 2-15 at the other end.
Wexford team, Pat's brother, the late John Nolan. In 1968, when Wexford won the All-Ireland again, Racknewer amazingly had produced a new set of heroes who were also brothers. Centre back and captain in 1968. Will you welcome, please, Dan Quigley?
Yes, from the Rackards to the Quigleys. What great service they gave.
Introduced as a substitute against Tipperary that day was Dan's brother. Will you welcome, please, John Quigley?
That's another big legendary name down Slaney's side, synonymous with Wexford hurling down the years, in particular in the 60s.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tipperary won the All-Irelands of 1950-51. Wearing number 10 each year was a super forward called Ned Ryan. Ned's late brother, Timmy Ryan, father of Bobby Ryan, captain of Tipperary in 1981.
So Cork are out. We didn't quite get to the end of the presentation of the hurling brothers, but it's great to see them. And now it's the turn of the big two here this afternoon, and the supporters of Cork and Kilkenny. The biggest day of the year for Ireland's most loved and admired sport. Two counties of immense pride and 50-year hurling victories between them. Cork shading it right now, and quite a contrast with football. Well, this year's finalists in a fortnight's time share precisely one All-Ireland medal between them. Let's check the team news then. Cork unchanged throughout the championship. Start with 8 of the players who began here against Kilkenny in the 1999 All-Ireland final. 9 if you add in today's captain, who's Alan Brown. He began on the bench that afternoon. As usual, Pat Mulcahy wears number 3, with Diarmuid O'Sullivan donning the number 4 jersey. The most likely tactic, of course, is a switch between them. And then into the forwards, just 2 members of this Cork forward line playing in their first ever senior final. Niall McCarthy there on the 40, and Satanta O'Halpine, the Australian-born right corner forward. That's Cork, and Kilkenny are out. The men who wear the famous black and amber, led by DJ Carey, bidding to equal the tally of All-Ireland victories that Cork enjoy right now. They're on 27, Cork on 28, Tipper in 3rd place on 25. Wonderful sense of occasion. Big support here for Kilkenny. It's a packed stadium, about 80,000 people in all here. Henry Shefflin and company ready to thrill. So let's check the team news with Kilkenny then, and the champions' first wish for an unchanged formation from the semi-final was tempered by a training ground hip injury, of course, sustained by wing forward Tommy Welch. But encouragingly, the UCC art student is able to play. Starters last year for Kilkenny, and the others are all among the subs. James Ryle and Sean Dowling are among the newcomers in the backs, while Derek Ling's midfield ally is Paddy Mullally. Henry Shefflin was last year's Hurler of the Year, and this year's current front-runner, I think, is goal machine Eddie Brennan. How the Dublin-based Garda does today in the company of Martin Comerford and DJ Carey may well be central to the resolution of this year's hurling championship. And all the men who have done all the training and will be in there if they're called upon, of course, in the Kilkenny list of subs. And there's a fair sprinkling of experience in the Cats substitute list. Good to see the return after injury of Richie Mullally, Paddy's brother, while Conor Phelan is just one of those offering a viable alternative to Brian Cody and company. We didn't quite get a look at the Cork substitute list there. Must mention one of them. That's Derek Barrett, who for loyalty alone deserves to have the recognition. He was also a sub back in 1999, and he's among the list as well this afternoon. And if he's needed and called upon, he certainly won't let the team down. There's Derek, he's number 19. Sean McGrath's number 21, and he was a sub also in 99, made a huge contribution, hitting 3 points and sharing 9 among Cork scorers that day as they last beat Kilkenny. James McGarry then, the number 1 for Kilkenny, his 4th All-Ireland final. Hoping to keep Cork out. How will it pan out? Lots to talk about still as we go back for final comments now to our panel and to Michael.
Thanks indeed, Ger. You know, the Cork team came out there, Michael Dignan, in the middle, or not the middle, the end of the presentation of the captains. It looked a bit rude. Now, in actual fact, they came out on the time that they were due out. I think it points up how almost scientific the preparation is, down to the minute stuff, for both teams going into today's match.
Yeah, everything is down to the minute. When you're ready to go in the dressing room and like there's nothing going to stop you, you want to get out in the field. And Cork came out like a train there, you know, they look very pumped up and fired up. Kilkenny came out much more relaxed there after them. But as you said, there's nothing left unturned. Everything is planned to the minute, and you don't want anything that throws you off. Even waiting in the dressing room for an extra 60 seconds, it just disrupts your concentration and your preparation. That just wouldn't happen.
And as well as that, Cork have a routine they go through on the field.
These famous cones and all the field.
A lot of teams do the warm-up before they come to Croke Park. These do the warm-up on the field. They have the cones down, they do a puck around, they do a bit of stretching there, and they need a certain amount of time for that.
Yeah, we might get a look at those. We might get a look at those cones and just the warm-up process that our Cork are going on with behind us here at the moment, gentlemen. It's all very much laid out in a very specific order. Here you can see it yourself, the entire warm-up process that the Cork team are going through with their trainer. This is what they've done, of course, the semi-final, the Munster final, and so on. So why not do it today? Yeah,
it's a well-practiced routine by Cork, and I think in the day of the semi-final they came out a bit late, and the 10 boys band cut across their routine, and I don't think they were too happy with about it. So they're out in time today. They're going to go through the whole routine. Everything is planned to the last second, and I'll tell you, Donald O'Grady is so well organised that he wasn't going to allow what happened the last day going to happen again.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for the moment. Now let's briefly meet this year's captains. Well, the man who led Cork out this afternoon comes from a well-known hurling family from the Black Rock region of Cork City. Kilkenny's captain this year is, of course, one Dennis Joseph Carey.
The mood in our camp at the moment is very, very good. I mean, there's, you know, we not only do the public have expectations of, we've great expectations of ourselves, and you know, I don't think this Cork team will be found wanting. You know, I mean, if we're beaten, we're going to be beaten, but I don't think we're going to be beaten because we're going to put in a bad performance. I mean, everybody's up for it.
Have you thought at all about leading the Cork team out into an All-Ireland final as the captain?
No, but what I've really been thinking about is kind of leading him back off the field with Liam McCarthy in my hand. But you know, it's a huge honour, but it's going to be a team effort. The players just have to remember and concentrate, and especially with a team like Kilkenny, we really have to be on our toes. I mean, they've been a foreign team over the last number of years, and they're going to be very, very difficult to beat.
It's a dream that's becoming reality. You know, certainly I have 4 All-Ireland medals, and I'd love to have the 5th, and maybe being captain of the team is a great honour. But you know what I'm saying now is I want to try and achieve as much as I can. You know, a few years ago, 92, 93, I was 22 and had won 2 All-Irelands. You know, I'm now 32, having won 4. So you'd imagine 10 years on, you'd be thinking of 7 or 8 All-Irelands with the team we had, but that doesn't work out that way. And, you know, from my own point of view and being realistic, I'm not going to have that many more opportunities to win All-Ireland. So you have to try and take them as you get them. So, yes, you're looking at it and saying, you know, I'm going for my 5th All-Ireland. I want that 5th All-Ireland as well. But there's a tremendous amount of luck needed along the way to get that.
Yes, the team's just being introduced to the crowd here at Croke Park at the moment, and significantly, Michael Dighton, the biggest cheer of the two teams went for DJ Carey. It's been a rough week for DJ Carey. Will this impact today, do you think, on him?
Obviously, it's been going on maybe for a while now, and he's maybe a little bit off colour the last few matches, but knowing DJ, he's mentally very strong. He'll put that to the back of his mind during the match, and he's around an awful long time. If he was a younger, more inexperienced player, you know, but I don't think really, just when you commented on it, I don't think the papers or anything should have commented this week. You know, it's a big week for him, and it's his own personal life. You know, it's happening every day of the week all over the country, and it's no one's business, and I don't really know why the papers had to bring it up this week. But DJ no bearing, I think, on his performance.
He certainly knows he has the support of everybody here at Croke Park today, obviously, after that cheer, Ger.
Sure, and he has not alone everybody here, Michael, but all over the country, all supporters, all people who have no interest in sport or have no interest in hurling. He has the support of all those, but I think that's all put aside now. Brian Cody's brilliant at handling situations like this, and the support DJ gets from everybody, you know, from his family, from teammates, from everybody. I think that he'll have pushed that aside. But now matters now, 15 minutes to go, is the ball and the game that's coming up, and that's what we're all here for, you know. And I suppose it has been analysed to death in the newspapers, in the radio and everything up to now.
Well, you have only 15 minutes left now to add your little piece to it once more.
All I would say for people watching it is a few things to watch out for.
Yes.
How will the Cork full back line cope with the Kilkenny, the lethal full forward line? Cork full back line have conceded 8 goals in the last 3 games. Now, if they start controlling those, things could be swinging Cork's way. The other line to watch is the Cork half-forward line, who scored a miserly 3 points against Wexford in the drawing game. Now, not alone, if they don't win ball there, they'll starve their great full forward line of possession. But as well as that, they'll allow the Kilkenny half-back line to cover for or to protect their full-back line, because I think the Kilkenny full-back line is vulnerable if fast, low ball goes in. And Jodine Satanta and Alan Brown will take advantage of that. And the last thing to watch before I finish and hand over to Michael here is Henry Shefflin and Ronan Curran. Ronan Curran playing brilliantly. Young man in his first All-Ireland. Henry due a massive game. Those are the clashes. Just a few of the clashes, but just a few pointers I want to watch out for today.
A lot of people are saying that Cork will hit the ground running coming out here today, that they'll tear into this game from the start. I can't see Kilkenny just exactly ambling through the first 10 or 15 minutes either, mind you.
No, I'd say it'll be fairly saucy stuff, all right, but just taking on from what Ger said there, I think the Cork if Cork and their half-forward line is the key. First of all, winning primary possession from puckouts, which you'd say now it's very hard to see them winning. Where's Donald Cusack going to puck the ball out there? So they may have a plan for short puckouts or something like that. But the next thing, their half-forward line, when they get the ball, they have to move it in quicker. They're running with the ball far too much. Ben O'Connor's a super player, but runs with the ball and frustrating at times for the inside line. And he's closing down their space. And like JJ Delaney, you won't run away from them. So I think if they move the ball quickly there, they have a great chance, because is it David Beckham and Jodine? No, Satanta Halpin and Jodine.
Oh, yeah. You're watching a farm station. Don't be watching those farm stations.
Satanta and Jodine are the key men for Cork. But up the other end of the field, Kilkenny have a plan. They say John Hine is not there to score. Henry Shefflin, great man to win possession. They can bring Martin Comfort out to win puckouts. So I think that's where Kilkenny have the big advantage. James McGarry can puck the ball out anywhere. Donald Cusack is going to be looking, where am I going to puck the next ball? Because I think Kilkenny will dominate them in the air.
Yeah, it's because of all this, and also because it's Cork and Kilkenny, you know, and the clashes that we've seen earlier on, 82, 83, the early 90s and so on and so forth. It brings a whole expectation to this game here today.
Massive expectation.
And some mighty witticisms over the last couple of weeks as well from fellas.
Terrific. You know, there are nothing better than the Cork people for their wit and for everything else. And, you know, when they come up to Croke Park, maybe we're not a great chance to win again. Maybe not. As the game gets closer, they get more and more confident. You can see them this morning. They're more confident now than I've ever seen them before. And we are nearly the same way. You follow on to that, you know. But we're just watching Brian Cody there. I mean, what he's going to tell Kilkenny today is, in the last 3 matches, you haven't told them until the second half. He's going to tell them, go for the juggler right from the start today. This is an inexperienced Cork team. Put them on the back foot, because if Cork get the upper hand early on, if they start playing like they played Clare in the first round of the Munster Championship, then they'll be very, very hard to stop.
There's his opposite number, of course, Donald O'Grady. Big test, obviously, for Donald O'Grady today. Everything has gone right so far. Taking Cork from the troubles of last year, brought them to the Munster Championship win, brought them here to the All-Ireland. Today, it's all in the balance.
Well, reputations are won and lost in the All-Ireland. Everything, that's the game people remember. They forget about what happened in semi-finals or other games. A huge day for Donald. He has done absolutely everything right. He has performed a miracle to bring them together, to unite them so well, and to get them playing with such physical aggression that you don't usually associate with Cork, allied to their brilliant skill. And he always has a plan for every game. What will be his plan today?
I think Cork have great support from, because of the action the players took earlier in the year. You know, I think players in every other county privately are saying they'd love to see Cork winning because of that, you know. And Donald O'Grady, he's coming across as an easy-going, quite well. You see the determination in his face there, unbelievable. And I heard him on the radio say during the week, we're travelling more in hope than expectation. I don't think so. I think Cork are here to win.
That's for sure.
There's no doubt about it. All right, gentlemen, the President of Ireland, of course, Mary McAleese, is about to be introduced to the crowd, has been introduced to the crowd, and taking the presidential salute.
McAleese, accompanied by the president of the GAA, Sean Kelly, going first to meet the Cork players, led by their captain Alan Brown from Blackrock. And a wonderful occasion for all of them here after you consider the trauma of the past 12 months in their lives, from strike action in November, late November, through to an All-Ireland final in mid-September. It's some voyage. John Gardner there. That's Mickey O'Connell shaking hands with President McAleese, who is a great sports fan, I know, and her husband Martin up in the stands, ready to enjoy this match. A game which has really captured the attention of an awful lot of people throughout this country and well beyond as well, on a gloriously hot, sunny day. So the various officials then being introduced. Pat Horan, who is one of the linesmen this afternoon, and of course Pat O'Connor from Limerick, from the Ahern Club, who is the match referee. DJ Carey now, who is the Kilkenny captain, introducing first of all his goalkeeper James McGarry, who's also his cousin. And down along from Noel Hickey. Just a few clouds overhead at this stage. It's been a wonderfully warm day here in Dublin, and in terms of support per county, I'm kind of feeling that Cork just about outnumber Kilkenny. I don't know how they got the tickets or where they got the tickets from, because each county had an allocation of around about somewhere between 11,000 and 13,000, but there's so much red and white out there right now, it's quite amazing. So DJ is wished well by Her Excellency the President, Sean Kelly offering his good wishes as well, and now it's up to the players. There is a great sense of occasion, which everybody enjoys, but at the end of the day, it's the destination of the McCarthy Cup. That's what it's all about. That's what they've trained for. There's Martin McAleese, great down football fan, and I'm sure he'll be back here in 2 weeks' time for another meeting of Ulster teams. Tyrone against Armagh, the All-Ireland champions. So a very popular visitor to the newly developed Croke Park. And it really does look magnificent today. Another bit of refurbishment to go, of course, down at the Hill 16 end. That's due to be completed by this time next year. Well, today it's the champions and their challengers, very much the centre of attention. Huge support. So let's get a final word then from our panel. Let's have them nail their colours to the mast, as it were. Michael?
Thanks very much, Ger. Well, I don't know if they're going to nail colours to the mast, but they're going to nail their predictions to the mast anyway. Michael Dyke, you can have the first cut of it.
I was hoping that you'd skip that bit and we get away without saying. I've gone with Kilkenny all year. I'm not going to change my mind at this stage. I said there were certainties the last day for the final, after the semi-final. I'm probably not that confident now that there's certainties, but I think they'll win it. If they play to their maximum ability, I think they'll win it by 5 or 6 points.
A good Cork man and a friend of mine, a friend of yours, Eugene, was giving out last night that you were giving Cork no chance. Gerlach, Dan, have you given them any chance?
Well, I think 82-83, 92-93, 2002, this is 2003. Cork, Kilkenny won the All-Ireland last year, won the league this year. Out of respect for that record, I would give them, I'm going for Kilkenny this year. But I'll tell you, I wouldn't put my shorts in it. I could have nothing on here by the end of the game.
not a pretty sight.
Not a pretty sight.
Well, with that in mind then, I suppose. Not that we would have any bias here on the panel as to who wins, but... Ger, now you know. 2 votes, 1 cautious, with the shorts kind of held firmly to his chest. For Kilkenny, that's the view of the panel. Back again to you.
Yes, well, indeed, he is holding that shirt to his chest. Well, he might. And you know, Cyril Farrell, who's alongside me here, you know, Cyril, in this era where the managers of the 2 teams really don't want to talk to us at all and give the game away, they love to build it up naturally, but they don't want to say anything about the opposition that will give the other team an advantage. Can I quote something to you? In mid-April, these teams met in the league at Porky Queeve in front of just 13,000. Kilkenny won that league match, and there are just a very few changes in personnel. But after that game, Donald O'Grady said, I just think we were outclassed. They were very cute, very slick. We were a bit naive. 5 months on, what do you think?
Well, Donald has said it. They were outclassed that day, and like Kilkenny are a very good craftsmen, but they're also physically very strong. And like they play a lot of the high ball, puck outs come down on John High, Henry Sheffield especially. They're very good in there. And when they're in trouble, they've been out Martin Comfort there as well. Cork have improved a ton since that out there. Like, you know, they've brought the half-back line of Kenny Curran and O'Halpin are playing well. Question mark over midfield with Garner and Michael Conlon in it. But their forwards, half-forward line, are inclined to carry the ball. If they get through it, they'll cause trouble. Kilkenny half-back line, that's where the whole thing is going to rest. If the Kilkenny half-back line get on top, they'll win the game. But if Cork will to break down that half-back line, they'll have a right cut at it.
When I was going through the teams there, the line-outs, we were speculating, as we usually do, that Mulcahy will go to the left-hand side, probably pick up DJ, and Diarmuid O'Sullivan will be told patrol in front of the goal. Just that area. Is that what you're anticipating?
Well, George, that may happen, but I think what Donald O'Grady do is say to Pat Mulcahy, you stick at full back, especially Comfort is there. I think Diarmuid O'Sullivan will go in there. I think to leave Mulcahy on Comfort for a start.
But I'm just thinking back to the replay of the semi-final against Wexford, and Donald O'Grady spent most of the first half behind the goal away to my right here, which is where Cork were defending, because as they say down at Leaside, the Cork full back line were in the horrors.
Yeah, Jerry, you see what Donald was doing there, O'Sullivan had gone into it and he was holding him at full back and not letting him move out the pitch. Now if Tip did the very same thing against Kilkenny, they'd have a chance of not letting in them goals, because when Brendan Cummins was making the saves, there was no full back line in front of him. Every ball that came out, the Kilkenny forwards are queuing up to take the shot again. With the new ball and the pitch so fast, you need your full back line dominating, put on the edge of the square, not 30 yards from goals. The goals don't come from there, they'll come from around the edge of the square.
You mentioned the new ball. We now realise that new ball was in operation for last year's final as well, but nobody made a big issue of it. With this new ball, which is flying all over the place, is midfield as important as it used to be, do you think?
Yeah, Jeremy, going back to last year's final, the new ball was there, but the goalies had their own balls, and when the new ball went wide, they were tucking out their own balls. This time, the new ball is in play the whole time, because it's O'Neill's ball the whole way. Now, it makes a very terrible difference, because midfield is bypassed, but I think Cork might play a lot of ball into midfield today and try to win there, try to bypass the Kilkenny half-back line.
DJ Carey of Kilkenny won the toss, and he's opted to play from right to left in the first half, which means that Donald O'Cusack is down at the Hill 16 end, and they will play Cork from left to right in the first half. There is really no great breeze of any great consequence. When we were down there doing our piece around 1 o'clock, sir, I think the breeze was blowing, as the meteorologists say, in a moderate southerly direction, which means across in front of us here.
Oh yeah, George, it's fantastic there for hurling. The atmosphere is brilliant, and the pitch, like, it looks immaculate. But it is slippy, George, there's no doubt about that. And talking to both the minor players and the senior players, it's even hard to know what kind of cogs to wear. The consensus seems to be maybe the old style 6 cogs, 4 on the, 2 in the back and 4 along the middle of the sole. If you wear too many, even the beautiful new blades, you just slip on the surface.
It's time for the anthem, performed today by the magnificent Celtic Tenors. What an outpouring of emotion. Cork and Kilkenny have met at this stage in the championship more often than any other pairing. 18 times in all. Cork with 7 wins, the last in 99. Kilkenny with 11 victories, the last in 92. That's against one another. In all, between home finals and replays, they've met 22 times in all. Pat O'Connor refereeing his 3rd All-Ireland final from Ahan in Limerick. And he is one of 11 Limerick men who have handled the All-Ireland hurling final. Mention of Limerick, it was Limerick who won the first McCarthy Cup. It was presented for the 1921 championship, but the game was played 2 years later because of the troubles at that stage. And we're looking around for possible switches and changes from the early stage. And I've noticed that Comerford and Diarmuid O'Sullivan are on one another. And it looks like Mulcahy has gone across to DJ. The referee waiting for the signal. And the 115th All-Ireland hurling final is underway. And straight away it's Tommy Walsh here. 65 metres out from the Cork goal, looking to give his side the lead. And he's done it! What a start! First attack, first point. There was a doubt about him. But he showed no effects of any hip injury with that beautifully hit point. Got really good purchase on it. There's the 65-metre line. And Tom Kenny, his marker, was well adrift of him. Great start. Donald Cusack tucking out towards Alan Brown, who will come into the half-forward line time and again. Here he is to try and take those puck-outs. Inside towards Niall McCarthy, the centre half-forward. Rating once again, sending it back towards John Gardner. Looking for the equaliser. Gardner strikes, but he struck it to the right. He's put it wide. Got the opening point in the replay against Wexford, and it halts up in the middle of the field. There he is, just having a little get-to-know-you with Paddy Mullally. Paddy, who aside from being a very fine hurler, is also an excellent golfer.
Danger.
Gardner reaching up for this one, one-handed down into the centre. Shawnee Dowling coming across for it. Taken well here by J.J. Delaney, having a great season. That's Derek Ling, busy as ever in midfield. Covered off well there by Wayne Sherlock. Outside here towards Diarmuid O'Sullivan, inside his own 20-metre line. Long, lengthy, flamboyant kind of clearance down towards Satanto Halpine. 2 men going across to Markham. Peter Barry here with the breaking ball. Nobody able to get total control of the situation. Barry knocking it into the centre. It was Ryle, in fact, inside for McCarthy. That's Niall McCarthy. Back to Gardner once again. And he's on the ground, but the referee says it was good pressure play by Kilkenny. And in the end, it becomes a line ball. Tommy Walsh is down injured, out over the sideline. Good confrontation here. Gardner was challenged. Tommy Walsh was coming across. Gardner was down hands and knees, and Tommy Walsh despairingly went out over it. Injured himself in the process. Scorer of the only point so far, Tommy Walsh. Usually plays, by the way, as a back with UCC in the Fitzgibbon Cup. Mickey O'Connell, bad connection that time by Mickey towards Ben O'Connor. He's lost the hurley. O'Connell lobbing it ahead towards Satanto Halpine. He's got Mickey O'Connell ahead of him. Satanto trying to go through. James Ryle's after him. It's a foul, it's a free, and it's going to be a chance for Cork to draw level. And Satanto is fired up, you can see here. I expected a very big opening 15 minutes from this player. He's having a very good season, and he could cause problems for James Ryle. Joe Dean, one of those goals-a-game men in the championship so far. With Henry Shefflin as well, of course. Dean, who's Cork's leading scorer, 4 goals and 24 points for the campaign. This Cork's 5th match, Kilkenny's 4th. They're level. So a positive start by It really is a very, very colourful setting. Pressure, I would think, on Brian Cody here. All the happenings that were going on. He would love to have had Charlie Carter and Brian McAvoy as part of his panel, but they opted out, and they're not available to him. Going back hands and knees was Henry Shefflin. And the whistle sounds, it's going to be a free to Kilkenny. Niall McCarthy there from Carricktool. One of the Cork newcomers to the All-Ireland final playing in their forward line. The challenge there on Shefflin deemed to have been unfair. It was Alan Brown who made the last connection. Sean Dowling dropping it in. Comerford's there. Well taken by the goalkeeper. Donald Cusack needs to settle his nerves early on in this match. Offside towards Timmy McCarthy, and he's out over the sideline. Pat Horan, linesman on the far side, very vigilant. Line ball to the Cats. Henry Shefflin, incidentally, has made a switch here as we watch that in reprise once again, and Cusack made a good clearance. Shefflin has switched with John Hoyne. Dowling with the sideline ball. Pressure on the Cork backs. Dropped away there. Nicely picked up here by Ben O'Connor. One of his feet may have been over the sideline, but not the ball. JJ Delaney is after him. Good control by O'Connor. He's had the ball in his hands, so he's got to release it now into McCarthy. Swinging it and swinging it wide. That's two wides now by Cork. A promising attack, but coming to naught. Worth having a look at this again here. Ben O'Connor doing a little mazy run. Appreciated he cut the ball too many times, so had to hand pass it then to McCarthy, but good pressure by the Kilkenny backs. Henry Shefflin's been marked over there by Sean O'Halpine. That's a big switch on the part of the Kilkenny mentors, I think, because O'Halpine is a central figure to the success of this Cork team.
Yeah, John, it's one that they do quite often. John Hine is very comfortable in centre forward. There's a lot of the donkey work. Like Shefflin can play him anywhere, really. He's a very good hurler. Cork will be very disappointed that he didn't get that last point. That should be gone over the bar.
It didn't, and this one might. And it does. Henry Shefflin's first pointed free. And it's Kilkenny who lead. Sean O'Halpine, the left half back, would have been expected to exert a big authority on that half back line for Cork, but by putting Shefflin in there, I think they could negate his effectiveness and his overall influence. Martin Comerford here. Diarmuid O'Sullivan deemed to have pushed him in the back, and Martin Comerford illustrating exactly what happened to the referee, Pat O'Connor. Here it is again. Well, he did a bit of stumbling there. As ever, it results in a free in to Kilkenny. Early stages of the final. Beautiful afternoon. Kilkenny trying to open up a gap. And that one has gone wide. That was a big chance. He was being asked to replicate what he did just moments earlier, which was fairly routine by his standards.
Yeah, Jerry's he's usually very accurate on these.
Dowling under pressure. Peter Barry's there to help out on the half-back line. It's been a magnificent half-back line by Kilkenny, and they have a great sense of togetherness. Comerford, very rangy player, very selfless player, taking on Wayne Sherlock. Turning, striking, and he has scored. Usually gets just about a point a game, Martin Comerford, but he's a great leader of the attack. And he gives them so much variation. It's 3 points to 1. When Kilkenny wish to and feel the need to, they can bring him out into the half-forward line and switch him around with Henry Shefflin or anybody else. But he shows what a fine individual player he is. Good skill, great execution.
Yeah, Jerry does a lot of tankless work. They say he doesn't score much, but he's very good big game player. Last year against Brian Lohan, he had a fantastic game as well, and he started off very well here.
Another very big game player, I think, is Peter Barry, the centre half-back. Now, he might have stuttered in his form earlier on in the championship, but he's a man for the big occasion. Keep an eye on him, the number 6. Donald Cusack going left once again towards Alan Brown. They've read the tactic. Michael Cavan is his marker. Brown battling, settling in with Niall McCarthy here, taking it away from a group of players. Slipping, Shefflin's after him. Still McCarthy. Outside to Alan Brown, didn't have much of a chance of that, but it might come favourably for Dean. Good challenge coming in. Dean still persisting, trying to work for it. There against Peter Barry. Back it comes to Sean O'Halpine. Angling inside towards Ben O'Connor. JJ Delaney sticking to the task, but it breaks kindly for Timmy McCarthy, and his shot is wide. Useful attacks now being mounted by Cork, but they're lacking that conviction in front of goal. And he must be a bit concerned, Donald O'Grady. 3 wides and only 9.5 minutes gone. First season in charge, of course. John Hoyne trying to benefit in there against Ronan Kern, and he does well, Hoyne. Good little flick away by Cork centre-half back towards Kenny. Back once again it comes, this time to John Gardner. Swept away into the middle of the field. Timmy McCarthy there battling with Shawnee Dowling. Dowling getting the touch. Intended for Henry Shefflin. Won by Timmy McCarthy again. Peter Barry trying to smother it in the centre of the field. Shefflin trying to roll it up. Everybody pleading. And it was handled off the ground, and it's going to be a free to Cork. Well, they were really going at it here. That was a great catch. Wonderfully done by John Hoyne over the head of Ronan Curran. John Gardner, 20 years of age, was on the same under-12 team as Satanto Halpine all those years ago with Napiershig. And he has put this one wide. Cork are experiencing the same kind of jitters that they experienced in the drawn match against Wexford, where they had plenty of possession but missed a lot of useful chances.
Yeah, Gerard, there are good chances as such, like, as long as it doesn't drain their confidence, because every chance Kilkenny will get, they'll tap it over.
But Kilkenny have opened a 2-point lead. Sean O'Halpine stayed back, anticipated, helped out Ronan Kern. Fires it in towards Joe Dean. Hickey is there as well. Great full back play by Noel Hickey. A real master of his craft. Crowd gets behind him to Henry Shefflin. Dominant. Good play by Shefflin. Takes them all on. Indestructible. Players calling for it. Mullally one of them. Lobbed into space. Poor ball. Oh, there was a high challenge. Ronan Curran was tackled high. Referee didn't take any action. Tommy Walsh is after it for Kilkenny. Has it. Has a space. Has a gap. A scoring chance, and he avails of it. He got the first point. He's got the latest. And Kilkenny, with their cuteness, their sharpness, are now leading by 4 points to 1. Yeah, Two shots at the target.
Terrible tackle here, George. Should have been a free out. Like, there's a quick here across. Might catch it here. That should have been free for Kilkenny. But before that was a tackle across the neck. Should have been a free out. Yeah, here's centre back coming down on the ball. Now look at that there. That's definitely a free out. Should have been, should have been a free out there.
Instead, it's Kilkenny who lead by 3. Satanto Halpine breaking it, and Ben O'Connor couldn't quite contain it. Line ball to Kilkenny. Kilkenny playing the game at their own pace, achieving mastery.
Yeah, during the physical exchanges so far, Kilkenny are getting on top.
JJ Delaney. Beautifully caught once again by Comerford, who's causing problems to the Cork full back line. And it's going to be a free in. This time the referee has spotted the indiscretion. It's by Wayne Sherlock. This was Diarmuid O'Sullivan there, and that was a great catch taken just moments ago by Martin Comerford. And following the foul by Sherlock, his name has been noted. So he gets a little ticking. And Henry Shefflin a chance now to add to the point he got earlier on from a free.
Yeah, at the moment you're like Kilkenny are well on top, and Cork are kind of trying to do things very fast and just not settling down at all, and Kilkenny are edging further and further ahead.
The gap widens. It's going very nicely now from a Kilkenny point of view, leading by 5 points to 1. And we haven't even reached the end of the first quarter. Kilkenny were very definitely the favourites, but Brian Cody kept his feet on the ground, on the floor, reminded them about '99. reminded him about 2001 in the semi when they lost to Galway. Michael Kavanagh getting it away. Kavanagh has some record playing under Cody. Only beaten 3 times ever in championship hurling, and 2 of them were All-Ireland finals. Wayne Sherlock back there, one of the stars of '99 against Kilkenny, trying to get it away. He's lost the stick, needs support. And Cork have been run ragged at this stage in the game, just going away from them, even though it's very early. Henry Shefflin. They're just going through, then stopped in the end, despairingly by John Gardner. Gets it out, but only to Tommy Walsh. Walsh steadies himself, inch perfect, inside the right-hand post and over. He's got 3 on the trot now. 3 shots by Tommy Walsh, 3 points. Tom Kenny from Grenagh has got his problems here. Cork are going to have to tighten up their approach. Well, they've made poor starts in the past. I remember Cork making a very poor start in the Munster final against Waterford when they were pretty wretched for the opening 35 minutes, and then came good. But Kilkenny are always capable of a really good 20-minute spell in the second half themselves. Alan Brown trying to eat into the lead, and he's put in wide. They're complaining about it. He thought it was spot on. Well, from his viewpoint, and I wasn't in line with it because I'm exactly across the opposite side of the field, but he was convinced it was in. It's still 6-1. Ronan Curran under pressure. Does well. Good control here by the bars man. One of the CIT students in the team. Ben O'Connor. Derek Ling from Urlingford. He's done really well. Back to John Hoyne, 50 metres out. This one has gone wide by Hoyne. He's a tough competitor player, John Hoyne. A bit like John Power before him in the Kilkenny team. And both of them who just loved playing for the Black and Amber. This is the point a little while ago by Tommy Walsh. Emphatically driven between the tall uprights. Good play here by Sean Dowling. He went back, read the situation, only as far as Gardner with the clearance, however, and Gardner can't punish the passing error. That is a total of 6 wides now by Cork, and as you can see, 16 minutes and 40 seconds gone. Doesn't look too good.
Yeah, Jordan needs some of these to go over, because they are getting chances, and a little bit of breeze, I'd say they have it as such. Kilkenny will be very, very happy because they are capable of attacking on scores, and if Kilkenny get a goal, Cork will be in real trouble. I thought that little shot we had a moment ago there was the non-smoking area in Croke Park. Obviously I'm wrong. That comes in January the 1st. Here's O'Halpine. Oh, loses the flight of the ball that time. Sun was in his eyes. Pressure once again on Cork. That's one of the difficulties the Cork players have had to contend with at the back during these opening minutes. Strong sunlight. So it's going to be Sean Dowling from O'Loughlin Gales, playing today in just his 5th championship match. Known in Kilkenny, by the way, as an Omlock hurler. I haven't heard the phrase before, but they say it's due to his unorthodox style. Nothing unorthodox about this man. Martin Comerford, direct, swinging it in and putting it over. Great point. Kilkenny are doing as they will. They are the dominant force in this match, and Cork have real problems. 7-1. Came from the line ball from the Omlock hurler inside here towards Martin Comerford, and he's leading his man, who is Diarmuid O'Sullivan, a merry dance. 2 points for Comerford from 2 shots. Referee has gone back now to have a word with goalkeeper Donal O'Cusack. Not quite sure what that was about. Did you understand the cause of concern? Not really, Jerry, no, unless they're trying to change the ball.
I think it may well be that he's trying to introduce his own version of the hurling ball, his own slitter. The Cork made one, and the referee had spotted it.
They want to do something, Joe.
Timmy McCarthy trying to do something here. They need to score badly. Cork hooked well, and it's out over the end line, and it's wide. That was a wonderful hook to deny the farmer from Castle Lyons. And I think it was Noel Hickey who got him at the end. Just watch this again in reprise here. This is what Timmy McCarthy loves to do, but the other players needed supply, and it was indeed Hickey who got in the telling challenge. Great play. One farmer denying another there. Nicely done by Ronan Kern, but there's a clash there. It involved Tommy Walsh and John Gardner, and the referee has whistled in favour of Kilkenny. Kilkenny and Brother Cork are warming up their substitutes on the sideline. Not that they'll need too much warming up on a day like today, which is nice and humid. John Gardner's got a ticking for that last foul. Tommy Walsh wants strapping round his helmet. Henry Shefflin wants another point. 2 from free so far. That's 2 out of 3. Perfectly delivered. From play, Kilkenny are the masters, and when Cork foul, they've got Henry Shefflin who'll take a good 80% of the frees and convert them. And you wonder what Donald O'Grady can do. The earpiece there links him up with the other 4 selectors who sit in the stand and see what's going wrong. And an awful lot is going wrong right now. That was the shot by Setanto Halpine, and it's gone wide. Awful. 20 minutes into it, they haven't played, they haven't been allowed to play. They've missed a number of chances as well, a total of 8 wides. Bad play in an All-Ireland final in any kind of match. Those who see that the bottle is half full and not half empty will say, well, at least Cork created that number of chances. There's Kavanagh playing in his 24th championship match. He's out over the sideline, or at least the ball was before he gathered it, I think, because the linesman has indicated it's going to be a Kilkenny ball. One of the quiet men of the Kilkenny team. You very rarely hear him say an awful lot during a game to the other defenders. Well, one of the conversation points we had earlier, Cyril, was that Cork and their selectors didn't change the team in the championship. We're at game number 5, it's the final, same 15 starting. Will this tactic of not changing come back to haunt them?
Well, they're trying to let them settle out, but they really need a score.
Well, Kilkenny have been doing well on Cork's puck-outs so far. That's Tommy Walsh. He's starring. Forget about the hip injury. He's taking on Gardner now. Sherlock's after him. O'Sullivan's out. Oh, he's put it wide, but there wasn't much in it. It was a great attempt by Tommy Walsh. He's flying, having his best game in the campaign so far.
Yeah, Jerry, he's really on song. Like, this is John Garner swinging at nothing. Tommy catches his goals. He's very, very fast. Goes down here on the left wing. Watch the areas. Everyone to maybe put off a little bit and just goes barely wide.
And a player down in need of attention is Wayne Sherlock. Cork doctor, of course, is Dr. Con Murphy. 16 All-Irelands he's been involved in with Cork in hurling and in football. It's a long, long time since Wayne Sherlock and his team have scored as the subs go back into the bench, having done the warm-up part. Not called on yet. Cork scored in the 4th minute. We're now nearly 23 minutes into it. So we've gone 90 minutes or thereabouts without a Cork score. It's been that bad. Alan Brown will just try to get his team as close as possible to Kilkenny heading into the break. No goals so far as McCarthy fires it into Jodine. There might be one here. Satanta has missed it. It's a 65. They get something out of it, but they should have got a goal. And Satanta's the first to realise the genuine possibilities there. He's got 2-7 so far in the campaign. Deed fed it across. Satanta was unmarked. That should have been in.
Yeah, Joe, you'd have to credit to James McGarry. Came off the goal line very, very quick. Beautiful flick here. As he hand passed across to Santa there, McGarry came fast. Because he took his eye off it. Like, McGarry came very fast and made him take his eye off.
It was the best goal chance. Another one might come here. And McGarry chests it in well. Setanto Halpine just out of luck. Another day that would have been flicked into the corner. Niall McCarthy, Cork sensing that there are chances still there before half-time to get valuable scores as Gardner strikes it, but really you just didn't feel he had any confidence in himself.
That's it, sir. They're having the confidence. At this stage, John Gardner's gone back, right wing back, and Tom Kenny's gone midfield, but the confidence has been drained out of Cork. And like Kilkenny are tapping away the points to hold them 7 clear, and if Kilkenny get another chance of a goal, this game could be gone beyond recall for Cork.
That's 4 wides, by the way, by John Gardner, as you say, now marking Tommy Walsh. Ronan Curran dropping it down. All the breaking ball going Kilkenny's way. Very good at the scrappage play. Tom Kenny now sucked into the middle, up towards Alan Brown, the captain. Loses this early, claims he was being pushed. Mickey O'Connell's chasing after it. Hasn't really got into the game so far. There against Hickey. Dean on his down on the ground. Rolled up by O'Connell once again. The little flick forward. Way off the target. Sitanto Halpine can't hold on to it. She looks absolutely frustrated after the long journey from Cork. Cork with 10 wides. The half-time break can't come fast enough for them. There's still another 10 minutes to go. 7 points between the teams. Just 1 Cork point. Lots of pressure. No joy. Gardner. Good move. Going beyond McCarthy into Sitanto Halpine, taking on James Ryle. He could have the beating of him if he gets decent possession. Softly hit that time. McGarry again, good control, takes it down well, feeds it out towards JJ Delaney, and a good lengthy clearance way down the field. John Hoyne reaching for it, couldn't make it. Walsh is coming after it. Here comes Pat Mulcahy, wearing the number 3 of Cork, but playing somewhere around left corner back, and it's Michael Kavanagh out with first. Good play by Kavanagh. Back there, DJ Carey. Great race by DJ, listen to the crowd urging him on. Belting it forward into space, and that has gone wide. 4 wides now by Kilkenny. That's the first we've seen of DJ in this match. He had gone out the field, allowed Mulcahy to come out the field, and that was the first time we saw both of them in the action. Timmy McCarthy losing it here to JJ Delaney. Great play. Wayne Sherlock couldn't hold it. It bounces out towards Ronan Curran. Ooh, couldn't come up first time, does the second. Has support. Diarmuid O'Sullivan needed a bit more room, couldn't get it. Kilkenny are just closing in, blocking down. We talk about the way Tyrone play football in Croke Park, where they give you no space. Kilkenny are doing exactly the same to Cork. It hots up. Just a few pushes and shoves. Nothing terribly serious, and the referee is in quickly. He's isolated. It was Martin Comerford he was thinking about having a chat with. This is it again. That was O'Sullivan, the block down there by Tommy Walsh. And a bit of whipping and pulling, and it's Tommy Walsh in the end who's called across. And this is probably going to be the first yellow card of the match. So 27.5 minutes gone. Tommy Walsh with 3 points from 3 shots off the target and 1 yellow card.
Yeah, Jerry was unlucky there because a lot of wide pull on both sides.
Well, sometimes referees treat situations like that by just picking one guy, the misfortunate one, but it could come against him later on, of course. That is the difficulty. In vacant and in pensive mood. After all of that, it's going to be Derek Ling who will take a sideline ball. Derek Ling, who's a first cousin of soccer player Michael Reddy, who's still playing with Sunderland, I think. John Gardner driving it away down towards Sitanto Halpine against Ryle. The break taken this time by Ryle. Good clearance by the young man. Down towards Henry Shefflin, turning well against Sean O'Halpine. And Kilkenny winning possession vitally in key areas, denying Cork. At this stage, Donald O'Cusack has been tucking the ball out time and again. So much of the play has been coming down towards the Hill 16 area. Again, the puck out towards Alan Brown. Kavanagh's keeping an eye on him, so the others are dipping in, and it's Timmy McCarthy releasing it here. Nice play by Tom Kenny. Kenny looking to score inside to O'Halpine. Players coming in support. Alan Brown is one of them, and great support play again at the back there for Kilkenny, and they get it away. Magnificent play. Whenever there's a hint of danger, they're back and they're helping one another out, and it's working time and again. Henry Shefflin here. Henry against 3 Cork men, which will leave a gap, but he couldn't spot the gap, couldn't get it through. And that in the end is Mickey O'Connell driving him himself into a couple of Kilkenny players, winning the free. Derek Ling is number 18 from the Emeralds Club. This is O'Connell here. Knew what he was about, and Ling came in. Didn't need to foul like that, but did so. And he's given John Gardner a chance of a second Cork point. 25, nearly 26 minutes since the last one. Looking for a goal, I think instead. Getting nothing of it. And Kilkenny once again solid at the back. Well, there was a point chance for the taking for John Gardner, but he was lobbing it in around the house, looking for something bigger than that. Mulcahy sweeping it forward. Timmy McCarthy's got in to join the attack. Here's Alan Brown. Cork looking for a goal, and the referee has blown the whistle. So Tanto O'Halpine has it, but it wouldn't have counted in any case. It's a free from 20 metres out, and it's a chance for Cork, who are absolutely outplayed in so many phases of the game, to get within 6 points of the champions.
Yeah, Jerry, even though they're outplayed, they have plenty of chances of scoring. Isn't that the chance they're coming, and they're kind of going for goals instead of taking the points as such? They're being outplayed, but there's plenty of chances. If they tap over the points, they're still in the game.
So Dean looking for his second point. The first was from a free, and the second is from a free. It's some commentary on Cork's first half performance. 31 minutes are played. It's 8 points to 2, and the only scores that Cork can come up with are from 2 frees. McGarry's puck out. Dowling. Good variation of the puck outs by McGarry, going long and then going short, and everybody anticipating that it might come their way. Eagerly taken up here by Niall McCarthy, and he's won himself a free. Really fired up. And I'm sure the Cork mentors are probably going to be saying to their team very shortly, look, forget the first half. Mistakes were made in front of goal in particular. We allowed them too much latitude. But now they're probably saying you could still win it. And Kilkenny will have that inner belief as well that comes with being champions. Could make for a very, very good second half. Dean inside the 65-metre line. He's misdirected it. Just not happening. Well, in terms of scoring chances, Cork have actually created more scoring chances in the first half so far than Brian Cody's team. Cork have created 17 scoring chances. Kilkenny scored just 14. So plenty of chances. The conversion rate is very, very bad. DJ Carey hoping to lead Kilkenny to another McCarthy Cup success. He's won a free. This to put a bit more daylight now between the teams as they head towards the break. We haven't seen the signal from the fourth official just yet as to how many extra minutes will be played. It's going to be 1. Shefflin right in front of goal. Should be another. And it is. The game's leading scorer, Henry Shefflin, his 4 points all coming from frees, and it's 9 points to 2. Kavanagh was swinging at it, needed Sean Dowling. He's having a great game and a great season as well. Nicely controlled here. Tommy Walsh having discarded the red helmet, but this time he misses his chance. Fluffed the opportunity. He's gone into top of the right, being marked by Pat Mulcahy. And DJ Carey has moved out to left half forward. Timmy McCarthy now steadying himself. Didn't get very decent power on the shot. Still runs in, calls the moment of concern for the backs in there. Everybody's after it. Joe Dean's after it, but the back standing firm. And in the end, they win the free out. Frustration for Joe Dean, but they really are up against it. A very committed and resolute Kilkenny defence this afternoon. This is it again. The chance was there just for a moment, but you can see James Ryle spreading his body back there. JJ Delaney coming in, the number 7, and one in the end with Noel Hickey ready to take it away. He's had a great match, Hickey. And the referee decides that the ball that was thrown in there wasn't the correct one. So the hoppity, rubbery type of ball is the one they favour. That's the one back in action. It's pretty lively. And Kilkenny have been making best use of it, leading by 7. Almost into the 1 minute of injury time at the end of the first half. Walsh playing it through, intended for Hoyne. Seized on instead by Wayne Sherlock. There for Sean O'Halpine. May look for his brother Setanta. Runs on beyond him. And that's good play again by Noel Hickey in front of an attendance of 79,383. Just about capacity. Here's Tom Kenny again, now in an attacking role, in for Timmy McCarthy. They need a score, Cork, and Timmy McCarthy is he going to provide it? The umpires are having a long chat about it. The referee has put his arm up and says to the umpires, if you can't decide it, and I can, and they finally wave the white flag.
Hard to believe, Ger, that both umpires didn't even make a move.
9 points to 3. Not quite sure what the umpires were doing here. It's not siesta time just yet. There's still a few seconds left. McCarthy swung it, and the umpires couldn't make up their mind. It was a perfect point. 6 between them. Wayne Sherlock trying to urge on the others around him. He's up against DJ Carey, one of the greats of the game, the greatest modern day hurler that I've seen play this sport. DJ and John Gardner there just having a couple of angry words. Nothing too much, and the referee perfectly in control. We've already played the 1 minute of additional time, but it's now very much at the referee's discretion. No sliotar, so we're waiting for the right ball. And finally the match can restart. John Gardner. Ryle contesting there with Setanta Halpine, and the referee's whistle brings to an end the opening 36, nearly 37 minutes of the 115th All-Ireland hurling final. Kilkenny have been more economical, they've dominated in key exchanges, and they have a lead at half-time of just 6 points. Might not be enough for a Cork team who really didn't get going with the same fluency that they normally possess, and they trail by 9 points to 3. Let's go down to the sideline, get some comment now from a reporter who's Marty Morrissey.
John Allen, Cork selector. Not a good first half by any standards for Cork.
No, not a good first half. We're backpedaling most of the time. I'd say if we were to boil it down, we've missed at least 10 chances. We've missed a goal. We've missed at least 5 very scoreable chances. There's only 6 points in it. I'd say the difference in the two teams is we're not taking our chances, and they are.
Your hurling doesn't seem to be as confident as it normally is. Obviously, you'd be happy to get him in at half-time.
It doesn't. Our striking is quite poor. Our forward striking is quite poor. We're second to the ball a lot. It's like the Wexford match where everything is going right for them. They've missed very few chances. As I said, we've at least had 10 wides, 1-5 at least at very scoreable chances which we've not taken, which we'll have to do something about.
What are you going to say? What's Donald O'Grady going to say at half-time?
Well, I think, you know, the game is certainly there to be won. 6 points is a big lead. I've no doubt about that. 6 points is a huge lead. I would think certainly the game is still there to be won.
John Allen, thank you very much. Noel Skehan is with us as well. Noel, in contrast, you must be a happy man.
I wouldn't say that really, Marty. I think we lost a lot of possession that we shouldn't be losing. We got some good scores. But on top of that, you must remember that Cork drove some wides there that, you know, it means that they're getting possession and they're shooting this out a bit. But all in all, like, I suppose it's good to be leading at half-time, but you know yourself, you don't win all Irelands in 35 minutes. It takes 70 minutes, so it's going to take us hard battle in the second 35 minutes, but we want to up our performance. We won't be satisfied with that performance, to be quite honest about it, like, you know.
Noel Skehan, the very best luck for the second half. Thank you.
The contrasting views, and one thing which John Allen might note, that Cork had 11 wides in that first half. We'll give you the other statistics very, very shortly. But just watch as the players are going off here once again. Diarmuid O'Sullivan there having words with Brian Cody. And Cork created 18 chances, took only 3 of them. There are 6 between them at half-time. At the final, it's Kilkenny 9, Cork 3. We'll be back.
Still very much with both hands on the Liam McCarthy Cup at this stage. 9 points to 3 they lead. Score 6 points difference, gap on the field, an ocean.
6 points in hurling is not a big lead, but the way Cork are going at the moment, 6 points is a lot because they don't look like they're capable of scoring at all. They got 2 points from frees and 1 point from play just on the stroke of half-time. At this level, it's not good enough, you know. But Kilkenny aren't much better at the other end. Tommy Walsh got 3 good points, Martin coming for 2, but apart from that, they're not clicking. Like, overall, it's a hugely disappointing game. You know, the final was very for the build-up, but it's not what we were expecting. And
no, it certainly is not. If you have a look at the statistics, Sherlock Nan, as well. About the first half, it's not so much that Kilkenny won the first half, they mutilated Cork.
Well, that's it, and I tell you, it's very hard to pick out highlights from the first half. It has been that late. It reminds you of something you said to me before the game, Michael, that you felt the Cork were very, very tense. And you know, the trick in coming into an All-Ireland final with an experienced team is to keep the balance between keyed up and getting over tense. If you get over tense, you freeze. Your shots go astray, you're hitting wise, it should be going over the bar. The striking isn't half as good as it usually is.
Yeah, I was down last night in the hotel where the Cork team were staying. I actually saw them there. That actually struck me about them. People around the team said they were very focused. But in actual fact, I thought they looked...
Correct. I like to see players the night before a final joking and laughing and have a bit of fun. Time enough to get tense when you're coming in here to Croke Park, or maybe an hour beforehand. If you can gear it towards that, then you're going someplace. Now here's one of the highlights of the game, and I suppose the highlight of the thing so far, Henry Shefflin. I am sure out to Tommy Walsh. Tommy has a fantastic start to the game. Now off his left hand side. Now remember, Tommy is more a cornerback or a wing back. He's playing a wing forward and he has scored 3 glorious points. Now here is off his left hand side. Now the strange thing about it is he has been changed from wing forward into corner forward, I think, to accommodate DJ, to bring DJ into the game. DJ has been brought out to that wing, but he has got a few glorious points, and this one is Martin coming for us. This was a classic point. You know, they were some of the few highlights, whatever highlights there were, they came from Kilkenny, whatever good scores there were. Now that's not to say about Cork opportunity. Wides. John Garner from midfield. Now look at the skill of this here, Martin Comfort. That's a score to adorn any final, but I mean it's easy to adorn this final because there are so really good things, few good things in it.
Well, we can only hope for a good second half. Joe Dooley's wife Mary is here with us in the box. She's a Cork woman. She's screeching in anguish at some of the misses. She's not wrong in that. The goal chance was a great chance. It went to the bank.
The goal chance was a brilliant chance. Like, if you felt if Cork could get a goal to bring them back into the game. Timmy McCarthy here comes onto the ball. And Timmy has tried hard. In fairness, he's won a lot of possession. Plays in a good ball across the field. And Noel Hickey slipped, the only mistake he made. And there's the ball. Mr. Tanter away. If he's having an absolute blinder at full back, he's outstanding. Slips there, Joe Dean, maybe if Satanta just snapped at it there and turned away, but it was a great chance of a goal and they really need a goal to bring them back into it. But still, 6 points is not a whole lot.
And they have prize of possession.
Prize of possession.
The 2 best players on the field are Noel Hickey and JJ Delaney, 2 Kilkenny defenders. I mean, there's piles of ball coming in there, but they're so hesitant in going for it. Kilkenny are not playing well. Kilkenny are a real disappointment here. And they're there for the taking, and they're still there for the taking, even at half-time. And the danger is now, of course, that they'll score a goal. And if they score a goal, then it'll be very hard to drag them back. But if Cork get a goal at the start of the second half, they'll get a crowd behind them and we'll have a completely different game.
Well, at least, let's hope we do, because it hasn't been great stuff so far. Commercial break coming up, second half of the match after that. I assume Donald O'Grady is going to give the Cork team a bit of an earful at half-time. I suspect so, as Brian Cody was saying, Sherlock Nan.
Well, Brian Cody will be given a right earful, and I think he gave one to Diarmuid O'Sullivan as well at half-time on the way in there, but you can be sure he's not a bit satisfied with the way they're playing. You know, they're holding up the ball around the middle of the field, they're not letting it into the full forward line. Has Eddie Brennan even touched the ball, Holly, in the first half? You know, and DJ, while he was inside, there was nothing going in. You know, they were winning the ball outside, running across, passing it across the field, passing it back, not the direct play that you associate with Kilkenny. Now, all Cork have to do is to take a lesson from our man. We see Joe Cannon go down, saying, calm it down, stick to your game plan, keep shooting for points, and eventually a few will come, and that will lead to your confidence. So there's no panic yet in Cork, but the avalanche is coming now. If they resist that and fight back and stay with Kilkenny or be close to with 15 minutes to go, this game could end up really, really tight.
This game could actually spark open Michael Dyton, because it's been so poor in the first half. We can't just kind of amble on like that. No. I mean, this is an All-Ireland final. There's a Liam McCarthy to be won there.
Yeah, but the tension obviously before the game got to the teams. Now that should be, you know, dissipated, and the standard has to improve in the second half. But if Cork don't up in the first 5 or 10 minutes, Kilkenny will come now with a traditional burst. All their matches this year have been won in the 15 minutes after half-time. They destroyed Tipperary and Wexford in the Leinster final just after half-time. They're going to come now with a big assault, and as Ger said, if Cork can manage to hold them now for the next 10 minutes, they have some chance, but otherwise Kilkenny can pull away and win this match very easily.
I just noticed actually, Gerald, now Donald O'Grady is out on the side of the team actually are in doubt.
I reckon what Donald O'Grady has done is he has said them, right, you're going to win the All-Ireland now. You sit down there and you decide what you're going to do. Managers often do that, I've often done it myself. Leave him there and say, listen, you're playing absolutely rubbish. Sit down there now, think about the next 35 minutes. Think what it'll be like travelling home on the train tomorrow without that McCarthy Cup. You have 35 minutes now to do. Get out and do. So I'd say you can be sure Cork is a mighty assault against Kilkenny at the start of the second half.
Okay, gentlemen.
Are they good enough? Are they good enough? That's the question. I don't think they are.
That's the question.
35 minutes to show us whether they are or not. Let's go back again to Cyril Farrell and Ger Cannon.
I think that's exactly what Donald O'Grady has been doing. Because he had one little word there with Alan Brown after he finished his meander around the length of the field before the team came back out. And now it's down to the two teams, two sets of players to determine who wins this year's McCarthy Cup. Only 6 first half. That's John Hoyne. Good ball in. Asking a few questions of the Cork backs. Wayne Sherlock was fouled and it's going to be a free out. That's the first time I've seen Eddie Brennan in the action, incidentally. You heard Ger Loughnane asking the question as he touched the ball. I don't think so. Just committed the foul there. Free to Cork. So Diarmuid O'Sullivan to launch this one. Just inside his own 45-metre line. Big one in towards Alan Brown. And again, it's Noel Hickey. What a match he's playing. Outstanding. John Gardner. JJ Delaney dropping it forward here. Comerford is beaten to it by O'Sullivan. Comes back out into the middle. Again, Kilkenny raid. John Hoyne's shot partly blocked down. Sherlock put under pressure. And Comerford swings, punches the air with delight because he knows it's on target. He's got a third. 3 shots, 3 points. And it's 10 points to 3. Cork were hoping to make the better start, but the dominant team, the beginning of the second 35 minutes, once again, the champions, the Cats from Kilkenny. Tom Kenny outside towards Sean O'Halpine. Over towards Ben O'Connor, who's had a very quiet match. That's because of the influence of JJ Delaney. Paddy Mullally trying to hold it, leaving it there for Tommy Walsh, who's been reacquainted with his red helmet, surrounded by Cork men, and there's a knock in the face there of Mickey O'Connell. He's down, will need attention. Play continues. It's John Gardner out here to Niall McCarthy. Sells the dummy well there. And that will lift the crowd. McCarthy has put it over the bar. They go point for point at the start of the second half. And once again, there are 6 between the teams. After we saw the injury there to Mickey O'Connell, it was Niall McCarthy who continued on his way, having got the pass from Gardner, and that was a great strike. And there's going to have to be a blood substitution now for Mickey O'Connell. And the man who's going to come on will be Jerry O'Connor, who could very well have been in a contention for a starting 15 place. That's Niall McCarthy, leaving it here for Tom Kenny. Cork suddenly lifting the tempo of the game inside to Satanto Halpine against Ryle. Dean is calling for it, doesn't come to it, spills loose, and the referee blows the whistle just as Michael Kavanagh was clearing it out. It's a free in, and once again Satanto, the tall man, 6'5", is fired up. O'Grady's done his business at half-time, telling the players exactly what's demanded of them. This was Satanto Halpine against James Ryle, and Ryle was having to foul. Down went the tall number 13. Cork at the free in. Dean will be the taker. This should be an easy one for him. There are 5 points between the teams. Joe Dean has pointed a third from the 20-metre line. 10-5. That's 3 pointed frees from 4 in all. And the Cork fans now begin to feel the journey wasn't all in vain. James McGarry. Kilkenny will have been certain that Cork will ask questions during the second half. McCarthy down to the other McCarthy, Niall McCarthy. Alan Brown nipping in here, the Cork captain. Across towards Satanto Halpine, and Ryan committed himself and leaves the gap. And Satanto's bearing down on goal, and he has put it over the bar when he might have gone for a 3-point score, but that all count. It's his first of the day. The fans are fired up, the players are fired up, and James McGarry is trying to remain as nonplussed as possible, and I think he's claiming that that might well have been outside.
Jared Umper has waved the ball wide, so it's going to be. It won't be a point. It's a wide.
So it doesn't count. So just to check, it's 10 points to 6 in one place and 10 points to 5 in the other. It's 10 points to 5. We haven't confirmed. One of the scoreboards is wrong. It's now been amended. Still 5 between them. Cancel out Satanto's point that wasn't. Gardner going forward. This is Jerry O'Connor, too much pace in the pass, line ball to Kilkenny. This is a bit more like it from both teams. And Mickey O'Connell ready to come back into the action again. Or is he going to do so? No, he's not. Well, that'll disappoint one of his biggest fans down in Middleton, who's Aileen Ahern, over in Boston watching it today. Donald O'Grady, very single-minded, as you clearly have to be at this level of competition. Nicely rolled up here. Kilkenny trying to take command of it again. John Hoyne. Swept across here by Tommy Walsh towards DJ Carey, who's back there towards top of the right and collides there with Pat Mulcahy, and the referee has blown his whistle. Free, the foul by DJ. Now the greater noise has been made by the supporters of the red and white, the Munster champions. DJ leading the Leinster champions. And down injured is John Gardner, I can tell you, out of picture. He was in the wars a little while ago. And the fans now trying to get behind the team, but just a mention of John Gardner, I think it should be said that he's done a very good job since going back to right half back, because there was a real threat and a real menace there as long as Tommy Walsh was getting decent ball and good latitude.
That's right, Charlie. They've put out Tom Kenny midfield, and Garner would probably prefer to be the half-back than rather than midfield. But it's a good period for Cork at the moment. They're more or less come back into the game, but they still want to tack on the scores.
It's 10 points to 5. So Jerry O'Connor is on. No longer just a blood substitution. That's down towards Joe Dean. Bounces away off Noel Hickey. Kilkenny in some difficulty, and it's a penalty! Satanto was grounded. Pat O'Connor makes the decision. Or Or is it? No, it's not. Well, he indicated by waving his arms out wide that it was going to be a penalty. He's changed it. Baffling. Comes back to Jerry O'Connor, and that has gone wide. There was the Setanta wide, there was the penalty that wasn't, and there's another wide here. What do you make of that?
Yeah, Jerry, I have to say at the moment that Cork aren't getting the breaks as such. Everyone thought there was a penalty there. Now, it's very hard to see from here, and Setanta's point as well, but Kilkenny are hanging in. It's a bad period for them, but like Cork would want to get their score, Jerry, because if they don't, Kilkenny will tack on a few more.
If we see that again later on, I'm quite convinced the referee went down, blew his whistle, waved his arms wide, signalling a penalty. Doesn't count anyway. Derek Ling under pressure. Good play away by JJ Delaney. And Diarmuid O'Sullivan loses the stick, but he's a footballer, come a hurler, and takes them all on. But it's a day when you just need to remain calm and disciplined. And Pat Mulcahy there just tapping him in the front and saying, easy does it. And Martin Comerford going in for a ruling as well, but it was a dragging down of this man here, Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Pats on the back for him, free to Cork. It's still 10-5. There he is without the hurley. And then running in to Eddie Brennan initially, and then Comerford. O'Sullivan's long free to Timmy McCarthy, breaks it down, swept away by JJ Delaney, doing an awful lot of tidying at left half back. DJ Carey out 65 metres from the Cork goal, trying to set something up. Nobody inside really, goes for it himself, and he's put it wide. That's 2 shots on the target by DJ during the match, and they've both gone to the right of the posts. Kilkenny are about to make a change, and Tommy Walsh is going to go off, and it'll be Conor Phelan who'll come on. So Conor Phelan, who's got great skill, great ability, a young player, replacing another young player. Each side having made a substitution. Here's Setanta O'Halpine, legs taken from under him this time, and it's going to be a free in. JJ Delaney committing the foul, free from about 25 metres out.
Yeah, Jerry, he's the one player, he's the one Cork player that has the Kilkenny backline rattle, if it's possible to rattle them at all, because they are very, very composed. But he is creating a lot of trouble, and they're fouling him.
I know they're trying to target him as much as possible, but the difficulty is getting the passes to him on target on account of the fact that the players in midfield trying to play those long balls in are themselves under pressure. You get nothing easily against Kilkenny. Dean to strike. Should be another one. He's got 3 for the day so far. Cork ease into the Kilkenny lead. The margin is down to 4 points. By no means a classic, but very competitive at this stage of the contest. Will it be Donal O'Grady's crown, Cork's 29th, or Kilkenny's 28th? All to be determined in the next half an hour or so. Good play here. That's a fine effort by Derek Ling. Great point by Ling. Raises the white flag, and that's wonderful play when you can see a midfielder coming in, taking the responsibility and snapping it over, blowing into Kilkenny into a 5-point advantage again. Here he is coming out of midfield, nobody able to get in a decent tackle on him, and a good shot. And that's Kilkenny's first score now in 10 minutes of the match. Peter Barry up here towards Henry Shefflin. Plenty of time to compose himself, lobbing it in towards Conor Phelan. Great catch by Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Mighty play. Out towards Jerry O'Connor, the new man in, slipping. Not quite wearing the studs he should be wearing, perhaps. Ronan Curran way down. Peter Barry's under it, calling for it, lets it drop. Still gets it the second time, all in after it. And he emerges with it and gets a high challenge. Releases it outside towards Niall McCarthy. McCarthy working feverishly. Back there as well, Jerry O'Connor and John Gardner, who got the last touch. They decided it was a Kilkenny player. Line ball to Cork. This is the catch again down at the other end. Conor Phelan powerless to deny the towering Diarmuid O'Sullivan. And that has gone wide at the other end as we were watching the play at one side of the field in reprise. It's tense. Very warm evening as well at Croke Park. McGarry now with the sun into his eyes. Kilkenny trying to win their own puck out. Comerford going across to right half forward. It breaks loose to Sean Dowling. Back to Kilkenny trying to establish control of the game once again. Conor Phelan trying to make an impact, and he also slides and slips. So it's interesting, the two subs have just come in, and the first thing they do is fall around the place here. And it's one of the difficulties with the surface here at Croke Park nowadays.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Ger. It's very, very hard to hold your feet here. If you're travelling to the ball at all, just do a quick little shimmy and you're gone.
There's a kind of a hollow underneath. It's not got the same give, the ball, when it bounces, as it does, say, in Thurles. Alan Brown against Kavanagh. It runs on beyond both of them to Timmy McCarthy, turning around past Dowling. And that's going well to the right. Idea was good. Execution not quite matching up to the approach. And that is a total now of 15 wides by Cork. Sean O'Leary there, one of the great corner forwards of the 1970s and 80s. One man you could always depend upon to get a goal. How they could do with one now. But still 5 points between them. Kilkenny only tagging on 2 points for the second half so far. So being contained by Cork as Wayne Sherlock way down towards Satanto O'Halpine, beating Ryle to it. He's off again, O'Halpine. Satanto with a hand pass to Joe Dean. The goal of game man is content with the point. 5 points for Joe Dean, the first to come from play. And a great run again made by Satanto O'Halpine. And it's 11 points to 7. Only 4 in it. Approaching 15 minutes gone in the second half. What about that for a block by Wayne Sherlock to set it all up? And when he did set it up, this is what happened. Satanto was on his way. He has the beating of Ryle the whole time. And the selfless release resulted in the score at the other end. It's Martin Comerford trying to go through, still in there, needing a bit of support. Breaks back loose. Again, they try to get it up. Outside towards Paddy Mullally. He rushed his shot. The man who has been captain of the Kilkenny football team. Yep, they have won too. And these Cork fans delighted with that wide, almost as good as a point at the other end, I'm sure they feel. And they recognise themselves. More time for consultation. Alan Brown couldn't take it. Great work indeed by Sean Dowling. Kept his eye on it, never deviated in any way. Wayne Sherlock released out to Diarmuid O'Sullivan. The Rock, they call him, down towards Joe Dean. Couldn't control it first time, needed Alan Brown. Satanta's coming in to help out. Satanta has it, into space. Ben O'Connor on his way, good shoulder. Played in towards Dean, Kilkenny man there, and it's once again the fullback, Noel Hickey. And Hickey in a little difficulty here, but still has the presence of mind to pick up and release. Batted down by Jerry O'Connor, the twins, of course, in the half-forward line for Cork, Ben and Jerry. This is the other member of the half-forward line, Niall McCarthy. Back out towards Ben. Nice little dodge. Angling the shot. Perfectly dispatched. Ben O'Connor, the scorer of his first point in this All-Ireland final. Cork fans still believe that it's possible. Only 3 points in it. Ben O'Connor went into this match with a little injury to the back of his neck. He's got a point there. He has some stitches at the back of his neck following an injury. But he's made it 11 points to 8. Met first time by John Gardner. Now Cork are putting it up to Kilkenny, and the questions are being asked of the champions. Donal O'Cusack. Wayne Sherlock, part of a defence that had conceded 8 goals in the previous 3 matches. Broken down by Dean, inside to Alan Brown. Runs away loose, and this time it's taken away nicely by Michael Kavanagh. the ice-cool man, getting it forward to Henry Shefflin, has enough room, angling the shot in. He's put it wide. It would have been a great point by Shefflin. That is now... The Cats were enjoying a fair bit of supremacy in the first half. You can see Hurley's flying out there that time. My goodness, that was from one of the mentors.
What happened there, Ger? There was a corner back lost his hurl and the mentor was very fast, flicked it out very quick to him. He's in there to do that, Ger.
James Ryle not standing his ground, and once again it's a Danto Halpine, and he scores!
Santa Claus has delivered, Ger. He's tripped it all day.
18 minutes into the second half, Danto Halpine with his third goal in the championship. His first score of the day here. Denied a point earlier on because it was wide, but this time no question or doubt about it. James Ryle rattled, his composure gone, the persistence and the athleticism of Satanta in evidence, and he fired, and he's put the teams level for the second time. Oh yes, this man believes it's possible. It's possible for Kilkenny as well. 1-8 for Cork, 11 points for the champions. Now we're in for a fine last 15 or 16 minutes of action. Niall McCarthy going for the point here, opening up the broad shoulders, strike out to, yes, he's put it inside. His point. And now Cork fans are enjoying this period of supremacy. It's the first time that Cork have led in the All-Ireland final. One of the umpires wasn't 100% sure, but the man on the left was, and he waved the white flag eventually. Cork in front in points, 12-11. Shefflin coming to try and level it. He's missed. Approaching 20 minutes gone in the second half, 15 to play. Now who's your money on?
George, been a great second half, especially for Cork, but the game has really lifted. The first half, Kilkenny was so much on top, and Cork missed it. It was a kind of a dull game. It's lifted now. But Kilkenny are good champions there. It's going to take a great team to beat them.
I tell you what, if you're watching this on video later on, just wind through the opening 35 minutes. Forget it. It was forgettable stuff. Brown down. Here's Timmy McCarthy without the stick. Into space. Satanta, the rangy player, can't hold it this time. Taken up well by the Kilkenny backs. Peter Barry was there. Michael Kavanagh. Kavanagh tidy, but two men after him, and the ball is still in play. Joe Dean back towards Brown without the Hurley. Back to Timmy McCarthy, fancying his chances. Inside towards McCarthy, having to reach backwards. They've got a man over in Jerry O'Connor if they need him. He's got the scoring opportunity, and he has fired it well. But it's come back down off the post. Real let off for the Cats. And now all of a sudden big questions have been asked by Brian Cody. Is he to experience defeat at the hands of Cork for the second time? Pressure on the backs of Kilkenny. McGarry copes well. In 99, remember, in the rain, Kilkenny were hot favourites. Cork won by a point. They're leading at this stage by a point. Connor coming. Referee says play on, good defensive work, and Kilkenny steal it back. And once again it's Noel Hickey, always at the centre of the action. JJ Delaney to help him out, but a back clearance. Comes out to Niall McCarthy, has time, and that is a very poor miss by McCarthy. He has to appreciate how much space he had. He could have delayed an extra second if he needed it.
He could, yeah, but it's a mile a minute at the second. Everything is going. Most people thought that was a free out. Comes out from here. He should have scored this. Has scored the harder ones and just flicks it wide.
Well, he got two earlier on. And Brian Cody's team facing a bit of a crisis of their own. Remember, Cork only got 2 points for a long portion of the first half. They were on one for a mighty long time. And now Kilkenny with only 2 points in the second half. 22 minutes into it. John Hoyne bottled up by Sean O'Halpine. All the family are here. And that's going to be a free down. That time Ronan Curran doing his work well. What can Brian Cody now do? The manager leading the side along with the experienced Johnny Walsh and Noel Skehan.
Ger, who'd want to be a manager?
Well, you did at one stage.
Got out before he got a heart attack. It's a tough pressure job down there.
I'd want to be a spectator, is more like it, I think. Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Cork leading by 1. The outsiders available at very good odds at the start of play. Brown inside to Dean. He has support and Timmy McCarthy's in for it and he lets it drop down and Peter Barry is in swiftly and he knocks it away out towards Derek Ling, trying to hurl it out of the centre. Henry Shefflin's available to help out. The hand pass out into the centre. They have support coming forward. It's James Ryle up towards Comerford, batted away by O'Sullivan, but it didn't go too far. Comerford has it again, looks at the target, goes for the shot himself, and that is over the bar. That's one that Kilkenny needed, and Martin Comerford has struck over a 4th point, and this fan is saying, yes, we can still do it. Great scoring chances at both ends from the reverse angle. This is what confronted Comerford, and he met the challenge well. It's turning into a great final. O'Halpine beaten this time. Good play at the back there. Hickey inevitably doing the covering. That's Tom Kenny.
At this stage, Kilkenny reacted. Put JJ Delaney gone back in on Satanta, and James Ryle has gone wing back.
Oh, Satanta's gone down. JJ Delaney was having a nudge or two at him. I saw Noel Hickey coming in after him, but I didn't see Hickey making any contact. I might see it in reprise, and surely the umpires who were right alongside it saw everything. Is the referee going to speak to them? Well, he's going in now. The two people involved in that with Satanta were JJ Delaney and possibly Noel Hickey. But I thought Hickey was the last to arrive on the scene.
There's only a bit of pushing, the usual pushing and shoving. I don't think the referee just say cool it down a small bit, lads. But it's hard to cool it down in All-Ireland final.
Sure is. Well, he's content with a little lecture. The umpires clearly told him not much went on. It's going to be a free in.
Interesting here now, Jared. John Gardner has missed all these frees in the first half. The question is, will he go for this one?
He's composing himself. Plenty of height, good distance, but the accuracy isn't there. No points from 8 shots at the target. That's a bad return by John Gardner when it comes to scoring, but as a half-back he's done really, really well. Andy Comerford is about to be introduced into the action, and Richie Mullally, there's Andy, number 21, last year's captain. He's ready for the fray. Richie Mullally back from a broken bone in his leg, been going really well in training. He's going to come in. So now the players coming off. It looks like James Ryle is one of them. Didn't have a good day, and Paddy Mullally. So it's one Mullally for another. 26 minutes are gone. Time for the substitute now, Richie Mullally, to have a grand entrance. He's still in there bustling away. Andy Comerford waiting for the break to come his way, didn't do so. Derek Ling has it, spoons it outside to Henry Shefflin. Kilkenny needing scores. That's great play by Shefflin, breaking the hearts of the Cork backs once again. 5 points for Shefflin. And this lady still has hope, and so have they, that the McCarthy Cup will be going back by the Nore. Good play by Shefflin.
Yeah, Jared, shows you how strong Derek can be on Mullally and Danny Comfort. These guys are very experienced.
Kilkenny now 13 points to 112, leading by 1. Sean Dowling, that's touchdown there. Good play, nicely away. Mulcahy setting up this attack for Joe Dean. It's good, but it drops short. One of the things I noticed about the new Croke Park, a number of the players like Joe Dean sometimes have difficulty measuring the distance accurately. It's a bit farther out than they've been used to. And this is a far out free. And Henry Shefflin has fired up. He's given Kilkenny the lead. And there are about 7.5 minutes of the final still to go. Incidentally, this is going to be the first Kilkenny free of the second half. It's an amazing statistic, but true.
Yeah, Jerry's
DJ Carey yet to score, but he's come back out to take this one.
Long way out, but you can't, like, this guy is great under pressure.
Remember the 365s he got against Tipperary, converted each and every one of them. This is on his own 65-metre line. So about 85 metres from the goal, and he's put it to the left, and the captain has put it wide. They still live on their nerves. Kilkenny the favourites of the champions, leading by 1, 13 points to 1-9. The coaches bark out the instructions and hope that they get a response from their players. It's tense. Donald O'Cusack pucking it out. Where's the next score to come from? Alan Brown's out around the 40. Andy Comerford coming into the equation here. And that diagonal shot has gone out over the sideline. Line ball to Cork. Bad use of possession by Comerford. A bit rusty, I think. It means that Cork now can go back into the attack. Every play from here on in is bound to be crucial. Hope it's a good match wherever you're listening to it. Jerry O'Connor lets it bounce off his legs, comes back towards Niall McCarthy. Into space here. Taken up here. Once again by Ben O'Connor, going by. Oh, anticipating that Dean had gone to his left. He hadn't. And instead back there is Richie Mullally, who had such a wonderful National League way back in the spring as a wing-back. Good ball inside, intended for Conor Phelan. Runs on to Henry Shefflin. Kilkenny have a man over. It's Martin Comerford. He balances and he strikes and he scores! It could be the crucial goal of the game. Minutes into the second half, and the Cork defence was in a dither, and the disarray was punished in emphatic style by Martin Comerford. His shot striking the ground and bouncing in beyond Cusack. Doesn't get too many goals. It's his first of this year's campaign. The other end come in, and he's pointed. A swift return by the Cork man. This is the goal again here, and it came from that pass inside to Martin Comerford. The defence at sea, the ball an awkward one to stop as it bounced in front of the keeper. It's some return by Martin Comerford, the big, tall, brave number 14 of Kilkenny. 5 scores this afternoon from 5 shots. And now the turn of Cork to make a change as Ben O'Connor goes off. And coming in is Shawnee McGrath, the man who got 3 points in the second half in 99 against today's opposition. There are 3 between them. Kilkenny lead at a crucial stage in the match. John Gardner lets it bounce off his legs, follows it up himself, needs Niall McCarthy's intervention. Henry Shefflin's back there as well, but it's still McCarthy. No stick, go for the boot. He does, inside to Brown. 45 metres out, Cork come looking for another score with Tom Kenny. They need a little block that time by Dowling. Beautiful work indeed by Sean Dowling, and Andy Comerford is there to help out, and in the end the clearance is by Michael Kavanagh. Everybody looking at the flight of the ball, following its direction. Runs unkindly for a couple of the Cork backs, but Cahy's under some trouble. Big pressure here as DJ has it. Brennan is to his left. DJ holds it up, uses up a second or two. Can't get it to a colleague, however, and it's Pat Mulcahy who tries to get it away from danger. It's stuck on the 30-metre line, and the referee will throw it in. 3 between them still. 3 minutes of playing go in this year's Guinness All-Ireland Hurling Final. Great pressure play from both teams. Some great individual performances. And still it's all to be done and all to be won. Kenny way down. Great play by the fullback. Once again it's Noel Hickey. He's had a wonderful game. He'll hardly play a better game in the Kilkenny colours Dermot O'Sullivan back at the other end. Alan Brown trying to nurse it to himself. Andy Comerford, the old war horse, is in there. 3 against 1. Cork there in numbers. Coming in is Kenny, then McCarthy. That's Chippy McCarthy. Stopped, this time by Peter Barry. Flashes it forward. Intended to link up with a colleague, but instead it's Niall McCarthy coming through. It's Cork who are behind by 3 points. Late in the game. Inside throws Jerry O'Connor. Stopped by JJ Delaney. Breaks it out and there's a foul on Delaney and it's going to be a free to Kilkenny. It'll take a bit of pressure off their beleaguered defence and Niall McCarthy just getting involved. Kilkenny with a couple of players down, as you can see. Have Kilkenny seized the initiative at a vital stage in the game after Cork asked them all kinds of serious questions. This is the attack there a little while ago and the great play of JJ Delaney.
Niall McCarthy here, they look to stay on job, but because he had a frontal charge, he also used a stick afterwards. He'd be lucky that he doesn't survive, go get a red card.
The referee is giving him the lecture. Is that an indication he's allowing him to stay?
Noel Hickey-Jarr's having a fantastic game.
It is.
So is Martin Comfort, 1-4 again from play. This guy's a big game player every year.
Cork have created far more chances in this match than Kilkenny. 35 chances to 26. It emphasises how they've turned it around. Their scoring rate's been poor, and he will be very, very annoyed with the way things have panned out. But it could still be Cork's stay. He'll still believe it's possible, but time is against him. And Brian Cody will appreciate, I'm sure at this stage, that only a Cork goal can seriously affect them. As Eddie Brennan goes off and Jimmy Coogan comes on, Eddie had a very, very poor match. Just didn't for him. For a player who was heading for the accolade of Player of the Year, he heads for the dugout. 2 extra minutes to be played. So half minute. Kilkenny will need another point. Cork will need a goal. There hasn't been a replay for 44 years in the hurling final. Pressure on the Kilkenny backs. Kavanagh just bats it down. Shawnee McGrath would settle for a point here. It's close, but not quite close enough. O'Halpine, and that has gone wide. So 2 minutes to be added, 113 to 110. Are Kilkenny about to level in the league table the tally with Cork, 28th time champions each. James McGarry playing in his 18th championship match. Possession vital for Kilkenny here, and they have it. Once again they go forward with great purpose and determination. It's Conor Phelan, the sub, who's grounded, but comes up with possession crucially. Kilkenny have the mettle. They've done it before and they're doing it again, and it's Shefflin who points, his 6th. It's a great finish by Kilkenny. They wobbled for a long period of the second half as Cork rocked them with score after score. But Kilkenny have found their style and their rhythm again. And Shefflin, ever the hero. At the other end, Shawnee McGrath has chipped in with a point. It's a late, late one. It means the gap has been narrowed once again to 3 points. But it's only Cork's 2nd score, just doing the tallies here, in the last 15 minutes. Not quite good enough. The players themselves will realise. So a few more seconds to play as Sean Dowling knocks it forward and Kilkenny have it again. And the goal hero, Comerford this time drops it short. Donald Cusack, this is it. Cork have got to get a goal here, but they've also got to tag on a point. And I don't think it's within their possibility range at this stage. Sotanto O'Halpine looking for the goal and then looking for some hope. He's got a free in, but there can't be much left in it. The referee has played 2 minutes of additional time. The shot is by Jerry O'Connor. Has got to be taken again. A little too hasty. Well, there can't be much time now, and the referee, I think, just signalling to the Cork players this is just about it. Dermot O'Sullivan is running forward to Joe Dean. Here he is into the equation, trying to roll his way through. Stopped by Peter Barry. Kilkenny with possession, and Kilkenny with the title. The champions have retained the McCarthy Cup. They had a battle on their hands in the second half, but they met the challenge head on. They had stars around the field. Wonderful defensive displays by the likes of Noel Hickey, JJ Delaney, Sean Dowling and Michael Kavanagh. And Martin Comerford with a goal 5 minutes from the end turned the match around in Kilkenny's direction when it was just on a seesaw. And the fans will go home, I think, certainly from a Kilkenny point of view, thrilled and delighted to have retained their trophy. Cork fans will be very disappointed, but I'm sure will appreciate that they had a good season, beaten in the end by a goal and 14 points to a goal and 11. Only 3 between them. Let's go down now in a few moments' time once we get an opportunity to get some comment. But first of all, Cyril, we've just got to have a little breather here after all of that. Yeah. It got frenetic in the second half.
Great second half. Kilkenny went in 6 points up. Brian Cody would have them charged that they'd taken in the first half. And definitely like the likes of Martin Comfort, Noel Hickey, Captain, they were fantastic, and Peter Barry. But it was the subs he used in the second half. They had Richard Mullally coming on, Conor Field, Andy Comfort, Jimmy Coogan. 3 of them lads would have won the All-Ireland last year. And like the Kilkenny strength and depth, then you had Henry Shefflin knocking over a few points. Like, you know, Eddie Brennan, DJ had quite games as such, but they're a very, very good, strong team, and like they're great champions. And who's to say they won't want to win 3 in a row?
It's quite an achievement for Brian Cody, their coach. People said he was ruthless, but he knew exactly what he had to do. And it's all about winning the trophy in the end. And I'm thinking in terms of Brian Cody's own career as a player. He won and he lost an All-Ireland minor medal against, and he didn't want the same thing to happen with him as manager losing again, having lost in '99. He's won in 2003, and Kilkenny are champions. Well, the bookies knew what they were talking about, but I think those experts as well, who figured that Cork would go in and give it a real good lash, they've done exactly that.
Yeah, Gerard, Cork would be disappointed with the display in the first half, but they had plenty of chances to knock over. Just Kilkenny are too good, just can't do that. You have to take your chances when they rise.
Let's go down and hear what Brian Cody has to say. The triumphant manager is talking with Marty Morrissey.
Brian Cody, congratulations first. The double has been achieved. Wonderful feeling, I'm sure.
Smashing feeling, Marty. I think without a breath there, I did a bit of run there, I think. I don't know if I was able to do it anymore before Harlan. No, it's a savage battle. You know, I'm not really mad about getting leads early on again, to be honest, because it's difficult to maintain that. All-Ireland finals don't go like that. We're used to coming from behind and all the rest of it, but we were all worried at half-time because, you know, Cork didn't come up here to get thrown aside. And it was looking bad for us. Like, shades of 99. Looming large, but you know all you do is you dig in, you battle, you dig in, and you battle again. And 70 minutes and 70 minutes and 73, whatever it was, and it's just terrific.
Everybody was expecting you to come out and kind of put up scores like an avalanche, and certainly Gerald Nan thought so at half-time in our analysis. But Cork really stuck to their task, didn't they?
I think Jerry should know that Clare won a lot of All-Irelands without putting up avalanches. It's not about avalanches, Jerry, it's about grinding it out. I mean, including himself said beforehand, this is going to be a savage battle. And that's all it was, a savage battle. And All-Ireland fans are for winning. Thank God we won it.
This is some achievement for you personally now, and indeed for Kilkenny.
It's a great achievement for that man there, DJ Kerry. He's done everything in hurling, and now he's lifting the Liam McCarthy Cup. And, you know, every last player in the panel essentially idolised the fella. Since they were, a lot of them were 7, 8 years of age when they were watching him win All-Ireland finals, and now they've won All-Ireland medal with him. All they want to do is just drive them up them holding stand steps, yeah. And it was a major motivating factor. But like every last player in the field, our backs were savage. I mean, there had to be Noel Hickey and JJ Delaney and these lads. I don't know how they were doing it, but they were doing it. I'm just naming 2, but it could go on forever. Martin Comfort and all this ferocious work. But as a team, and the fellas who might and shine, they're digging in, they're hooking, they're blocking, they're hunting, they're hounding. And we're the All-Ireland champions, and that's it, Martin. Thanks very much.
Well done, Brian. Congratulations.
So Sean Kelly now to make the presentation.
And a very special fault to all our friends overseas. bhí an lá go húntaach, bhí an tapas fear ar jaus, agus taréis slithe húntaach, tanamach agus sportdól, tá Cordan Lee McCarthy ag dul arás go Kilkenny na gas. Cogardicus low. Have looked to Corky. They fought a good fight. It wasn't their day, but ultimate glory will come to them in the very near future. Good mark of Corky. And now Kilkenny complete the double-double. And in the company of Mr. Brian Duffy, Managing Director of our general sponsors Guinness, Guinness Oz O'Crioran, and Gordon of Runner, and Captain Kilkenny, Ireland's greatest, Kilkenny's hero, the legend from Goran, DJ Carey.
Big cheer for DJ winning his 5th All-Ireland medal today. Kilkenny the champions for the 28th time. Worthy winners, worthy champions. And but for the lapse in 2001 when they lost in the semi-final, they could today have won 4 in a row. They're that good a team. The fans will enjoy the occasion and the evening later on.
Taoiseach, Accordia, it's a great pleasure and honour for me to accept the Liam McCarthy Cup on behalf of this great Kilkenny team for the 2nd year in a row. Well, it's a great day for Kilkenny hurling. It is a great day for hurling, and that, in no uncertain terms, went to a great runners-up today, Cork. They battled and battled. We all know what it's like to be on a losing side, but I've no doubt you have a very young team, a great team, and your turn will come again. I suppose there's no greater honour in the game to come up here to Croke Park, a magnificent stadium, to accept this Liam McCarthy Cup. And I suppose with family, friends, in particular, it's a great honour for my own club, Young Ireland, to have a representative here today. And I want to thank each and every one in the club, players, committee, all combined, for putting me here today. Thank you very much. Throughout a long year, a lot of things have to go right. And certainly, things go right from us right from the start. We have a magnificent sponsor. Some fellas are saying we have too much gear. But I don't know, but whatever we have, we certainly have a very happy camp when it comes to gear and preparation. And that's all down to a magnificent sponsor in Avonmore. Behind them, we have a great supporters club led by Frank Morrissey and Jim Freeman. We have a great county board led by Ned Quinn and Pat Dunphy. We have a great backroom team. We have Noreen Roach on dietitian. We have Joe Malone, Racker Cody on the hurls, Ty Crowley, Robbie Lodge, all our medical backroom team, and I hope I haven't left that. But I suppose when it comes to the crunch, we have a man who's with us for 10 years, has a team peaking every year, certainly that we've got to All-Ireland stage. Magnificent Cork man, Mick O'Flynn. Some fellas take a lot of stick, and when it comes to selectors and management, I suppose they're always in the firing line no matter what county they're in. They have tough decisions to make. They get the earned respect of everyone. With 2 great men, a legend in hurling, Noah Skeen, and a great man in the background, great selector, Johnny Welsh, and of course to all managed, Nick is always on the block. Brian Cody. Ultimately, no All-Ireland or no match can be won without a team, without a panel. And anyone that was in James's Park or Nolan Park for the last 6 or 10 weeks would have seen how we would have trained. And 15 fellas went out today, but in no uncertain terms, those 15 wouldn't have been prepared without 15, and in actual fact, 18 others who are there, who are fighting as strong as the team that went out today, just to be part of this panel and to try and make the team. And I want to thank, it's a great honour for me up here, but I would not get that honour if it wasn't for those 33 players out there. Lads, thank you very much. I've enough said. There's a lot of celebrating to be done. I look forward to beating Kilkenny tomorrow night and in Gorn on Tuesday night. And with that, I'd like to give Donald O'Grady, Alan and Brown, and all the Cork players 3 cheers. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Thank you very much.
So DJ Carey, as he said himself, will take the Liam McCarthy Cup back down to Kilkenny tomorrow at some stage, and I'm sure there's going to be a fantastic welcome for the team. Michael Duignan and Gerlach Nan here with me in the presentation box as we watch the Kilkenny players go past to each get their little opportunity to wave the Liam McCarthy to their supporters down there. Turned out to be a really exciting Michael Duignan second half of this match, and I suppose at the end of the day Kilkenny were deserved winners.
Yeah, it was a great second half. Much improved on the first half. And in fairness, fair play to Cork. They came out in the second half and they really laid down the law. They played brilliant hurling, went ahead. But then I think Kilkenny showed why they're the team that they are. When they were under pressure, when they were looked like they were gone, because Cork had all the momentum, they struck back and got the decisive goal through Mark Comfort, and that was the difference at the end of the day. But Cork, they're fierce disappointed down there now. They know that they hit an unbelievable amount of wides. They're 11 in the first half. I don't know how many in the second half, but a lot of them were very scoreable chances. And they could have been further ahead, could have put the game out of sight earlier on. But that's Kilkenny for you. You never have them beaten. And when the pressure was on them, they responded. And they're the worthy champions. They're the best team in the country at the moment.
Alan Brown and his players down the middle of the field. Gerald, Cork players are still talking about this match, maybe plotting next year.
Well, I'll tell you, when they look back at this after a few days, they'll say, what only if we had played in the first half. That's the thing that will haunt them for the rest of the year. They're a very young team. They're a team that are on the march. They're a team that answered nearly all the questions that were asked of them up here today. The full back line was absolutely magnificent, and so was the half back line. And a measure of how well they played was, at the end of the game, I watched Brian Cody. He did a sprint from the Nelly stand out, the LA side out there, out in the middle of the field. Something I've never seen him do. He can just show you that he knew how close to the edge they came. Yeah. Kilkenny haven't been tested like that in 2 years. And it is a measure of their greatness that when they were tested and a team went ahead of them, they still came back and won the game.
Everybody talks about how calm and composed Brian Cody is, which he is, but I was actually watching him as well, Gerard, towards the end of the match. He spent more time in the field than some of the Kilkenny players. He was dancing because he was so tense about the situation. Yeah, well, look at the ball.
Brian Cody's his style is to keep it very low key, and as if he's just a small part of the setup, but he's the man that controls the whole thing down there. And there's fierce pressure on him. He's the man who makes the hard decisions. He's the man who dropped Charlie Carter, and then Charlie walked away, and he had to answer all the critics and Brian McAvoy. And if he lost the All-Ireland, the pressure on him, he wouldn't show it at times, but there's fierce pressure on him. And
it'd be great to see that man there crowning his career with accepting the McCarthy Cup. He was captain in 1997. He lost out there. Here he's captain this year. He's not at the end of the career. We're not saying that by any means, but it really is a crowning glory in any great, truly legendary player like DJ is, to have part of his CV that he did accept the McCarthy Cup on behalf of his team. And what a player, what service he has given to Kilkenny, and what joy he has given to us all down through the years.
Well, no doubt about it, Gerard. Michael scenes to savour here at Croke Park, and DJ, as always with DJ Carey, taking the time to talk to the supporters.
And that's the thing about
the team are doing their lap of honours they're entitled to, but DJ always has time.
And that's the thing about DJ Carey. Up in Meath last year we had a night, we were trying to send the lads on holidays, and we had a race night, and I rang DJ to see could he organise the cup because I know him, and he said he would, and I said we got a couple of younger players to come up, whatever. And he rang me back about 3 weeks later and he said, I have the cup for you. He says, sorry it was so long coming back and I'll bring the cup up myself. And he was in Dublin the night before, he went to Cork that morning down to visit a sick child in the hospital, and he came back up to Athy to our function. I left at maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. And outstanding. And like people talk about he's doing this and that for commercial and whatever. He does all that work totally for free. He doesn't want anything for it. He insisted. We were even trying to give him a few pounds for their holiday fund. No way. He said, I'll do this, he says, because he tried to promote hurling.
But I think he also, the whole Kilkenny team reflects Cody's personality, you know. Honesty of effort, play with common sense, give it your level best for the Kilkenny jersey. And, you know, for Brian himself, this is his third All-Ireland title he's won. He was a player when they won in 82 and 83. He's a manager when they won in 2000 and 2000. Now that is some record for both the service that he has given to Kilkenny, and I know the service he gave to it at underage level even before that. And that's the way Kilkenny is. You know, you come in, you serve your time, you carry on the Kilkenny tradition. You feel that's your responsibility, and then you hand it over to somebody else. But let's not forget Cork. A lot of people didn't give him a chance coming up here today. They came within an ace of winning this All-Ireland. They missed so many chances. Watch the number of wides when the stats come up. And if one of their best players today, Niall McCarthy, could only put that ball over the bar, the story could have been a lot different.
I suppose the thing about Cork is, Gerard, they will look back in this game, as you said yourself. Kilkenny had 35 minutes hurling play today before Cork decided to start.
Yeah, Cork were very, very poor in the first half. But like it was the day to take Kilkenny. They were completely flat. Like they weren't like the normal Kilkenny fans. Noel Hickey was outstanding. JJ Delaney and American Comfort. They're the only three players I'd say. Well, you know, Michael Kavanagh was solid, but those three players were at the peak of their game. But none of the rest of the team were. And it's just a measure of how strong they are mentally that they stuck at it, you know. And maybe, as Gerard said, Cork let them off the hook. Cork, you know, they had an awful lot of chances. But like Cork are learning, and in fairness, the likes of Stanton Halpine, who's a new young fella, he played very well today, showed for the ball, took on responsibility, and got the goal when they needed it. So, you know, they're a team for the future. It'll be very hard for Kilkenny to come back and have the motivation and hunger for next year again.
But you see, if you look at this well, Michael, this is the reverse of 1999. You know, Kilkenny seemed to be, they took the lead at the vital time. They seemed they were going to win it. Cork came back and won it. The reverse happened today, you know. And the history of Kilkenny and Galway in the last few years has been low scoring, tough, hard, low-scoring games. And as Brian Cody summed it up with two great words there, it was with ferocious intensity in the second half. It wasn't the open hurling that a lot of people expected, but that second half was still a great half for everybody to savour.
In many ways, somebody like Diarmuid O'Sullivan kind of encapsulates that kind of blood and guts kind of spirit.
He caught the ball there with his two hands. He must have thought he was back with Larry Tompkins on the football, but he caught the ball, and I'd say if the whole Kilkenny team came at him, they were going to
they were all going to get a bang.
They were all going to get, but Diarmuid O'Sullivan had just to pick him out as an example, he had a very poor start to the year, taken off against Waterford, you know, came in with a sickness, a cloud over him. But in the last couple of games, he's been absolutely outstanding. He's a great man to watch in full flow. But you have to say, you know, while he caught some great balls and cleared them, American Comfort scored 1-4 while he was marking them directly, you know. And Kilkenny's strange move American Comfort off at a couple of stages during the game. And when they did, he absolutely dominated. But the likes of Wayne Sherlock, Pat Mulcahy, Ronan Corn and Sean O'Halpy, absolutely outstanding. And they said a low scoring game, and that's a tribute to the Cork backs as much as the Kilkenny backs.
We didn't see brilliant forward play, but we saw fantastic defensive play today.
Those are the pictures, by the way, that will be on the front page of the papers tomorrow, no doubt. Two young Careys with Dad, who was the captain of the Kilkenny All-Ireland winning team.
That's what it's all about.
The winner takes it all, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, just looking at the Carters walking off, I was thinking that to myself, you know, it's such a difference between winning and losing. And the Carters should use that as a motivation. I don't think people think about it enough until the event is over, but if you think about the actual feeling of losing the Ireland final before the game and get it into your head, it's a great motivating factor.
Look at what Kilkenny have done since 99. Look at all the All-Irelands have won since 99. That drove them on. They feel they left it behind them that day. This young Cork team can do the same thing. You know, they will be very disappointed going home this evening, but they contributed so much in that second half. And again, I'd say, if they had only held in that first half, we won't say the result would be any different, but what a game it would have been. It would have been a brilliant 35 minutes, but we would have loved to have an even better 70 minutes. You know?
Yes, well, I suppose there was so much build-up and so much about this game.
And they were new to Croke Park. It was so new to a lot of the Cork players. Kilkenny are so used to this field here. But at the same time, you'd have to say that overall, Kilkenny's aerial power, their ability to wheel ball in the air, especially early on in the game, that's what laid the foundation for their victory, for their half-time lead of 6 points especially. Now, Cork counteracted it very well in the second half. They won a lot of ball, broke a lot of ball in the air, and picked up the breaks. But Cork will learn so much from this, but of course that's so little consolation. You're going home after losing.
Going home with no cup. All right, gentlemen, we're going to pause and take breath here at the moment. A commercial break coming up. Still more to say about this All-Ireland final. Join us again after that break. Winning manager carried the win. They've put those All-Ireland titles back to back. Always a very difficult thing to do, even more difficult in the modern game, but Kilkenny have achieved. That's a wrap-up on today's game. Kilkenny 114, Cork 111 was the final score. And look at the number of frees, very few frees in this match indeed, and also the number of wides. Cork had just 6 wides more than Kilkenny, but in terms of the importance of some of those wides, it was critical to the outcome of the game. And in a good intense second half, and I suppose a tense game overall, just 2 yellow cards issued through the course of the day by referee Pat Ahern. Right, that's the scene then here at Croke Park. A period in the second half when Cork made the big push, the big comeback. They got a point, they got a goal, and suddenly they were right bang back in this match.
Yeah, they came out in the second half and they did exactly what they had to do. Like, they had to make a good start to the second half or they were in big trouble. And they dominated for the first 15 minutes of the second half. We're going to see the goal.
O'Connor, first of all.
Here's Niall McCarthy, who did Trojan more calls during the game. If he had scoring shoes on, he would have had 5 or 6 points to his name. He hit a few bad wides, and that's Ben O'Connor, yeah. That's one of the, like, Ben O'Connor was very quiet during the game. JJ Delaney had an outstanding game in him, and then went back on Satanto Halpine for the last 15 minutes and quietened him as well. He was a superb hurler.
Then they follow this with the goal.
Mistake here by James Ryle, and Satanto is through, and beautiful goal, you know. You see the way watch the height from which he struck the ball, the way he struck it. Once it broke him at all, he's passed an old hickey camp, and he hits the ball almost shoulder height, down into the ground and into the net. Now, James McGarry had a great game for Kilkenny, very, very safe under all the balls, but he had no chance here. Satanta, I thought, had an excellent second half today. A bit nervous, a bit hesitant maybe to start of the game, but he was one of the real driving forces in bringing Cork into the game in the second half.
Then they brought themselves back into the game. Niall McCarthy got a point in the second half that actually put them in the lead at this stage.
That's right, and there's a great point from way out here almost at midfield. Now at this stage the Cork half back line were in total control. Niall gets the ball here. Now he did this all day long, and great shot here from away out the field, and we could see it from this side here. There was no question about it. It was going straight into that Cork crowd there in Hill 16, right over the bar. There he is at midfield, maybe 50-60 yards out, ball over the bar. Now at that stage you felt the momentum was with Cork, and if they could have piled on another score or two after that, they could have taken the game. But Kilkenny, usual, didn't panic, stuck to the thing, back down the field, and Comerford bangs it into the net. That was really the crucial score.
Richard Mullally is after coming on at this stage, and Andy Comerford. The subs like that are unbelievable to have on this. You know, 2 brilliant hurlers, especially Richard Mullally was outstanding last year, and he was back in training for the final. But here you see Henry Shefflin had crept inside, took up the ball and laid it off here to Martin Comerford. Great first touch. That was the key to that goal. Andy Comerford was one of those days today. He hit 4 great points from play, all from difficult angles. But if you watch here, it was a difficult enough ball to control. We were saying in the first half maybe Sandro Halpine should have caught the ball. Now if he tried to catch this, it would have been away from his reach. But he took a great first touch, and maybe got a little break off Sean Oakes' hurl and into the corner of the net. But that was the crucial score of the game.
Yeah. And I think Sean Oakes was a bit far out there. He should have stayed closer to his line and guarded the post beside him. I mean, the ball wasn't going to come across him with Sullivan tackling him. That was where he was going to go for goal. He could only go in beside that post. Yeah. He should have stayed closer to that. Now he let in one against Rory McCarthy as well, remember, at that side. That's the side of goal he should not let in the ball. Yeah. But it hit the ground, and maybe even if he was there, it could still have gone in. But that's the goal that won the All-Ireland for Kilkenny.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your thoughts on today's match. Relief also for Gerald Nan. You managed to keep the shorts to the end of it all, just about.
Thanks be to God for that.
Just about.
That's the highlight of the day.
Michael Dignan and Gerald Nan, thank you very much for joining us here in our presentation studio. That's where we leave it then for the moment. But an invitation, of course, for you to join us tonight for the Sunday game evening transmission. We're on the air at 9:30. We have highlights, of course, of the big game. We'll also be going to the winners' hood.
All-Ireland finals are very, very hard to win. And people, you know, if we had lost the game, our skill levels wouldn't be questioned, because our players have shown over many games that they're capable of performing at the highest levels of skill, absolutely and totally. But what would have been questioned was our mental toughness and our ability to grind out a result, which is the hallmark of great teams, really. But today answered all questions about this team because they had to dig deep. The hardest imaginable way the game was won, where we had control of the game. It was taken from us, they drew level and they went ahead. And then the players took over and their character took over. And it was an absolutely thrilling victory as far as I'm concerned.
It would have been a terrible match to lose, I think.
Every All-Ireland final is hard to lose, Ger. We stood here 4 years ago, having lost an All-Ireland final to Cork. And any time you lose an All-Ireland final, it's a terrible match to lose. But every All-Ireland final is a brilliant match to win. And today is a brilliant day for Kilkenny.
Sure is. Brian, you're the coach, but you're also a dad of this lad here. Did you get a chance to see any of the minor match?
Saw a small bit of it, and saw little bits of it on television as well. You know, the reality is, again, from a Kilkenny point of view, that we were here last year celebrating an All-Ireland minor and senior victory. And we're here this year celebrating an All-Ireland minor and senior victory. And that's something really, really special. So the minors, again, came up trumps, and I'm delighted that they did so very, very well again.
You're as tall as the dad, Dorka.
Oh, sure.
Tell me, where do you get the hurling from, Mam or Dad?
I wouldn't like to say no, but a bit from both.
It was a great minor match, wasn't it?
It was a tough minor match, very tough. Like the seniors were well ahead at one stage, and we let them back into it, and you know, they nearly snuck it on us in the end.
Well, it was a great minor match, a great senior performance by Kilkenny. Brian and Donegal, congratulations to you both. Well done.
It's a historic day, of course, for Kilkenny, because today they equal Cork in terms of winning All-Ireland titles, 28 All-Ireland titles each. The man who guided Kilkenny to that historic title is beside me, DJ Kerry. You got the biggest roar today when I introduced you in Croke Park. It must be a wonderful day for you.
It's a fantastic day, Marty. I suppose it's everyone's dream, first of all, to play with their county and win in All-Ireland, and then, you know, to be captain of a team, it's words can't really describe it.
What was the first half like? Because the first half, you seem to be all over Cork. You seem to settle a little bit better and a little bit quicker.
Yeah, the first half, Cork seemed to be missing a good few chances, and we were taking most of ours. And I suppose it would have been much more even if you taken a few scores. We were battling hard, winning a good bit of possession, and you know, we were going well, winning the odd free. Martin Comfort was going well for us up front, and Tommy was brilliant as usual.
It was unusual, though, DJ, that you were ahead by so much at half-time, because our sound has just come back in the hotel. That's the cheer. The fact that you had 6 points at half-time was unusual for Kilkenny.
Yeah, well, it was a 6-point lead, I suppose. This year we've gone in mostly down or level at half-time, so it was something we had to look at. We were happy at half-time. There's no point in saying any different, and we wanted to come out and try and drill it home as much as we could. It didn't work for us that way, but at least it was going to take a long time for Cork to come back, especially with our defence. They weren't going to give much away easy.
I'm talking to a couple of the Kilkenny players. They feel that this victory was a greater victory than last year's against Clare, because you really had to graft.
Well, right from the start last year against Clare, we took the game to Clare and played well. This year Cork came at us in the middle of the second half and fired everything at us and went a point up, and then you need character in a team, and fortunately and there's great character in the team. I suppose today it was really tested, and when it was tested we came back. But you know, tonight is a great celebration for Kilkenny, a wonderful celebration for Kilkenny, but there's another team in another hotel, and they're very disappointed, and they contributed to a magnificent game.
And come up with a decision, but we'll give the honour to Tomás Mackay.
Magnificent game.
And come up with a decision, but we'll give the honour to Tomás Mackay to name our man of the match from 2003 from the All-Ireland final.
Again, I suppose, Michael, in most games it's difficult, and I mentioned the Cork full backline today. They were superb, but if you look at the winners tonight, you look at Kilkenny, they had some tremendous performance throughout the field. I thought JJ Delaney was outstanding, and certainly up front, Martin Comfort with his 1-4, I mean, equally could be chosen tonight, but my man of the match goes to a guy that showed great leadership when needed throughout the 70 minutes today, at a tender age of 23. It's a lot of experience on young shoulders, and he's 23, as I said, winning his third All-Ireland medal today, and my man of the match goes to the number 3 for Kilkenny, and that's Noel Hickey.
Congratulations. And Rory Sheridan is here as the curtain has gone flying there with a little cheque from Guinness's sponsorship manager. And this is for the Players Fund. Thanks very much indeed. It's been a terrific day.
It was a marvellous day really, between the minors winning first of all be the point, and give us a great lift going out, and the seniors, I suppose, we were always looking back in 99 and we wanted to make up for that today, and Cork was in the pressure in the second half, but the lads responded well, and it was a wonderful day.
You had to dig out a victory there. Did you enjoy the game as a contest? Because so many people say in All-Ireland finals it flies by and you miss a lot of it.
No, I wouldn't say I did enjoy it really. I mean, the last 2 All-Irelands we had a few points to spare and you can enjoy the last 10 minutes, but today every ball coming in was a pressure ball, and you know, you really had to be on your toes with the Cork forwards around. You know, they're excellent hurlers, and you know, but it's great to get the win.
You got to know Joe Dean fairly well, but then again, you're old pals. You've been on all-star tours together.
We have, yeah. I met Joe once or twice, both out on the trip, and marked him before, so I suppose I knew his game fairly well, and maybe he knows mine, but you know, Joe's an excellent hurler as well, so got on all right.
Overall, how did you sum up today's Kilkenny performance?
The first half, I suppose, was we went all right, and Cork hit a lot of wides, we hit a lot as well, and second half-time we felt we didn't go great, and we wanted to put that right in the second half, but Cork came at us, and they went a point ahead then, and we thought, you know, geez, this is not 99 over again, but Martin comforted up, and he told me this morning that he was going to rattle the net today, so he did anyway, so it was great.
He did the business, and he's much appreciated around here. You're a farmer, of course, in Dunamagan. So what's going on when you're out playing hurling, winning All-Ireland medals? Are the cows on automatic or what?
I'm not too bad. I have a brother home as well, so I'd say I'll be taking this week off anyway. We'll see after that.
He's on his guard.
He is.
Now, 2 in a row sounds nice. 3 in a row sounds better.
3 in a row I'd sound good, all right, but yeah, I'd say if all the lads stick together, I suppose there'd be no reason why not. If we all come back next year and have the same hunger for it, I couldn't see why not.
You're a very deserving RT Sunday Game man of the match. Ladies and gentlemen, Noel Hickey.
Yeah, maybe Noel Hickey could get Kevin Sharkey and Twickenham, a few of them, to mind the farm for him for the week down there after a bit of experience. OK, now, let me just give you a look ahead to what we have for you coming up in the week ahead on RTE Television. The Champions League returns to RTE Television on Wednesday night with Bayern Munich against Glasgow Celtic. That's followed by Arsenal's meeting with Inter Milan. So join us at 7:30 on Network 2. Breaking Ball will preview all of the weekend's Gaelic Games activity on Friday night, and that's on RTE 1. The Premiership on Saturday night will have highlights from the best of the day's action. That's on Network 2. It's at 7 o'clock. Greyhound racing on Saturday night will feature the Irish Derby, and that's live from Shelbourne Park, and you can join us at 9:05 on Network 2. And then on Sunday, it's the All-Ireland Senior Camogie final between Cork and Tipperary. We're on the air from 4:15, and the channel is Network 2. OK, that's it then from the Sunday game for tonight. My thanks once again to Tomás Mulcahy, and commiserations indeed, Tomás, and to Pete Finnerty, and commiserations on the minors as well, to both of you. But thank you very much for your thoughts on today's All-Ireland finals. That indeed is our last hurling programme here for this summer. Well, we've seen some great matches, some inspiring performances, some worthy challengers, but at the end of the day, Kilkenny are still the champions